Hello everyone, this is Velto59, and welcome to a full guide of everything Minecraft. So today I'm going to be talking about this blocky game and everything you can expect to see in it. So there will be certain tips and tricks, and mostly in-depth explanations on mechanics, mobs, biomes, and more. I'll be splitting the content into sections, so feel free to change to whatever chapter you want to see or whatever you were here for. But without further ado, I'm going to get started. Alright, to get started, I actually just wanted to ask the question, what is Minecraft? So, I'm going to give a little brief explanation. Minecraft is a voxel-like sandbox game, where you as the player has the free will to do anything desired in an infinitely procedural world. Each world will be different, but are specified by seeds, so when you input it into the seed list on the Create World screen, it will also give you the same seed. You will encounter all sorts of animals, enemies, friends, structures, dungeons, and a lot of breathtaking world generation in my opinion. And as the game title suggests, you are going to do a lot of crafting and mining. These are core aspects of the game. The game can be in single player, multiplayer, with public servers, private servers, or like even your own like realms and stuff. There's also different game modes. There's survival, which is probably the one you're going to be doing the most. Creative, which is basically survival except without the survival aspect. So for example, you don't have to worry about hunger, you have infinite resources, you can fly, and mobs won't attack you. And then you have something called hardcore, which is just survival, except it's locked on hard mode and you only get one life. So it's like a permadeath or like a Nuzlocke from Pokemon. And there's also some other more technical game modes such as spectator and adventure. Spectator you'll see in hardcore, that's for when you die and it'll allow you to spectate what you've done in the world. And adventure is more for people who want to make custom maps. So unless you want to get into that, I'm not going to explain those. And there's also different difficulties, so things like there's peaceful, which as the name suggests, it's peaceful. There's no like hunger. Well, you don't have to worry about hunger. Mobs won't attack you, and you're gonna really have to try to die. And then there's also easy, normal, and hard. They're all pretty much the same. Monsters attack you, you have to worry about hunger, things can kill you. It's just that the amount of damage you may take and the amount of hunger you may lose scales between those three game modes or difficulties. So if you ever played a video game, you probably know that WASD is usually the way that games make you move. So it's same with Minecraft. Mouse makes you look around, and the control key is to run, and the shift key is to sneak. The left mouse button will break a block or attack an entity, so things like zombies and skeletons. And pressing on the right mouse key will place a block or interact with the world. So say for example you right click on a villager, it's going to open its interface. Pressing the Q key is going to drop the item in your hand, and pressing E is going to open your inventory. And in your inventory you can use the mouse to pick up things and put it down by clicking on the item. The shield icon on the top is known as your offhand, and these items are known as second priority items. So if you put an item in there, it will not function if the main hand has a function. So say for example, I have a torch in the offhand, but I have a sword in the main hand, and since the sword cannot do any right click function, it's going to instead do the torch's right click function, would be placing it down, so it would place down the torch. The armor slots are also obviously for armor. You can put things in there, you can take things out. Now, if you hold shift and click on an item, it's going to quickly transfer the item, but if you do the same thing while holding the same type of item that you're trying to quickly transfer, it's going to quickly transfer all types of that same item. If you press right click on an item, it's going to pick up only half of that item, and if you right click to place it down, it's only going to place down one item per click. This one is just for creative only, but it's useful to know. So if you press an item with your scroll wheel, it's going to make a copy of that item in a full stack. It's not really important for survival players, but I just thought it was useful to know. And of course, the escape key is going to open your menu. That's where you can change your keybinds, your FOV, your audio, and other stuff. So that's about it for basic controls, I think. I'm going to move on to more basic mechanics. Bloxes are what make up a Minecraft world. And obviously, as I said before, holding right click will break the block and left click will place the block. Some things to note, not all blocks are like the same sizes. For example, beds are like 1x2s, doors are 2x1s, flowers are just 1x1s, and so on. And certain blocks can like change their state. So for example, crops can grow, copper blocks can oxidize, and redstone can update their states and such. Some are non-solid, so things like water, lava, powdered snow, and cobwebs, those are all non-solid blocks. And others are more entity-like, so things like armor stands, paintings, boats, and minecarts, those are all entity-like blocks, I guess. And some blocks can affect others around them, so things like water, moss, skulk. Sometimes it just depends on if the player interacts with them, but sometimes it can just affect other blocks by themselves. And some blocks will have different properties depending on what they are. So some blocks are harder than others, some are more blast resistant than others, and some are like immune to fire, and so on. Now some blocks can be interacted with, so things like the crafting table, the furnace, enchanting table, jukeboxes, those can all be interacted with. And overall, there are just many blocks that you can choose from, so just go ahead and go crazy. Now, breaking most blocks will cause the block to drop down into an item form, and you can pick it up by just walking to it. Certain blocks will give you things called a new recipe, and you can use that in the crafting table to see what you got. And certain tools are made for certain blocks, so for example, all stone blocks are with a pickaxe, wood is for axes, earth blocks are for shovels, and obviously more. Now, placing a block will use up the block, so you can only use as many blocks as you have, and certain blocks require like certain amount of space, so things like doors and beds, and certain blocks require certain placements, so some can only be placed on the floor, some can only be placed on the ceilings or the walls. Some blocks are going to be changed or interacted with when placed near the other blocks, so this is mostly referring to redstone blocks. So like redstone blocks, redstone torches, they'll interact with redstone machinery. And you can't place blocks, like different blocks, where another block currently is, even if it looks like there's space. So things like slabs, stairs, and fences, you can't do that. You can do it with water though, because there's this thing called water logging where you can put water in blocks that have air in it, so just keep that in mind. Crafting will mostly be in the crafting table, which is made by 4 wooden planks and a 2x2. There's also the crafting slot in your inventory. That's how you're gonna make the crafting table, so just make sure you know about that. You can craft a various amount of things in the crafting table, so some recipes are set while others are kind of shapeless, so things like soup are mostly shapeless. And if you need assistance, in the crafting inventory is known as the recipe book. Open that to see any of the recipes. And most crafting tables are, other than like the crafting table, are specialized in like their own fields. So looms are for banners, stone cutter is for stone, and there's obviously more, but I'll go into that later. And crafting is pretty essential throughout the whole game. You're gonna need that a lot, so just remember to always craft. In order to craft a furnace, you're going to need 8 cobblestone in a 3x3 donut shape in the crafting table. And furnaces are used to smelt minerals, cook raw food, create blocks like glass and glazed terracotta, and other things. And it always requires some sort of fuel source to cook with, so things like wood, coal, literally any flammable object can work as fuel. And not everything can be cooked, only certain things. There should be a recipe book in there so you can just see what you can cook. And there are two other cooking, smelting type blocks, and those are the smoker and blast furnace. And these are specialized furnaces that cook things faster, but they can only cook what they were designed to cook. So smokers are for food, and blast furnaces was only for minerals. So you can't cook anything like food in a blast furnace, or like glass in a smoker. You can only cook food and minerals. Campfires are also something that you can use for cooking, and they only cook food, but you have to use your right click function to put your item onto the campfire, and when it's done, it's gonna pop off the campfire. Now, tools are crafted in the crafting table, and all of them usually have durability, so they're not infinite. You're going to have to craft more eventually. And they all have different functions, and they're all specialized in different things. And some tools are also capable of using right click. The 5 basic ones are the sword, which is utilized in combat, the axe, which can also be utilized in combat but are more specialized in wood, and its right click function is stripping logs. The pickaxe, which is used for mining pretty much all stone blocks. The shovel, which is made for earth type blocks, so things like dirt and sand. And right click will create paths on dirt blocks. The hoe is for more naturey skulk type of blocks and also for farming, but I'll get into that later. And obviously there's more tools, but I'm going to talk about them later in the video, so you can skip to that if you want. So in this game there are things called spawn points, and usually to reset your spawn point you're going to need to sleep in a bed, which requires 3 wool blocks and 3 wood planks of any type. And sleeping can skip the night, and it will also reset your spawn point to the last bed that you've slept in. And there's also something called a respawn anchor, which is for the nether dimension. And right clicking a charged respawn anchor will set your spawn point to that anchor. And there's also a thing called the original spawn point, which is called the world spawn, and if you don't have any set bed or set respawn anchor, you're going to respawn at the world spawn. So just make sure that you have a spawn point nearby, otherwise you're going to have to be spawned in the start of where you spawned. Now on the bottom left of your screen is your health bar. You have about 20 hit points, and 2 hit points is equal to 1 heart, so you'll have about 10 hearts on your screen. And any damage that you take will take away from your health, and obviously if you lose all your health you're going to die. And once you die it's game over. You'll lose all the experience you've gained and drop all items around where you died. And obviously if it's hardcore you're going to have a permanent game over, so you'll just be dead for good. Now on the right is the hunger bar, and as you do things the hunger will deplete, besides like peaceful. Well, peaceful does not deplete hunger, and in order to refill the hunger bar you're going to need to eat, and to eat you need food, and food is obtainable through various methods, so things like animals, crops, fishing, you can get food from there. And at a full bar you're going to start to heal health, that's called saturation. And obviously healing is going to drain your hunger, so as you like regenerate health you're going to lose hunger bars, so you're going to need to keep on eating in order to heal. Now that I've taught you some of the bare bone basics on getting started to the game, I'm going to give you some tips on how to survive like your first night and day in Minecraft. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get a feel of your surroundings. You want to know what's nearby. You want to look for like trees, food, water, any sort of structure. You want to make sure that you know where you are. One important thing to note, day-night cycles are only 20 minutes per day, so you only have 10 minutes of daytime and 10 minutes of nighttime, so you don't want to get stuck at night because that's when the monsters will spawn and kill you. So things that you want to do first is to get wood, try craft some tools, maybe get some stone, try scavenge for food, maybe build some shelter before nightfall, and if possible try to create a bed, and if you can't create a bed obviously just build shelter. Chests can be handy for like storing things that you may find and want to keep as you explore your world, and obviously just like look for places that you want to build in your world, because there can be some pretty nice places that you want to build. And obviously not everyone's first day is going to be the same, so you can just do it at your own pace. It doesn't matter, no one's gonna judge you except for yourself obviously. And for more help, there's things called advancements in the menu, so it'll show you like things that you can do. It's like kind of like a progression system in game. Alright, so you've probably survived your first night. Maybe you didn't, maybe you struggled a little bit, it doesn't matter. Or maybe you're just like waiting, maybe you're still waiting to wait for the whole night to go. I don't know, but now you're ready to indulge into your Minecraft world. Find what to see what's to see, do what's to do, and yeah, I'm gonna teach you everything that you can do in this game. Personally, I find the mid-game to end-game to be the best part of any player's world. It's kind of where you truly explore and discover things in Minecraft. So this next section is going to be more in-depth mechanics and systems in the game, and explaining the mobs, biome structures, and treasures you can find in Minecraft. Just some quick things to note about exploration. Certain things are only found in certain biomes, so things like there's like unique blocks, mobs, and structures that only spawn in like certain biomes. Some things do not mesh well in certain environments. So, for example, aquatic fauna mobs don't really match very well with like fiery mobs or like the undead. And there are 3 dimensions in Minecraft, and each one is required to enter before you enter to the next one. So you'll start off in what we call the overworld, which you can then move into the nether, which is required to then move into the final one, which is known as the end. So with farming, you're going to need to have seeds, and you can find seeds all over the world. And in order to plant the seeds, you're going to need farmland, which is what you use a hoe for. So if you right click any type of dirt with the hoe, it's going to till the dirt. And then after that, you can right click the farmland with like any of the seeds that you have. And obviously seeds are going to take time to grow, and they all have visual stages. And farmland usually tends to require water nearby. Without water, the farmland will dry up and sometimes disappear, and crops that are currently planted will not grow as fast as if they were hydrated. And you can grow crops faster with bone meal that's crafted using just bones. And you can also get bone meal from feeding excess plants to a composter. Now there's a variety of crops that you can grow. So the first ones are like the most basics are the wheat, which is required from seeds, which you can get from like grass, loot chests, and trading. Carrots do not have a seed, and they're mostly from like trading chests, mob drops. Potatoes also don't have a seed, they're just a spud. Same thing, mob drops, chests, structures. Beetroots are seeds, so you'll get like the beetroot and the seeds when they're fully grown, and you can find them in chests and trading. Pumpkins are also seeds, but they're kind of unique. You only need 1 seed, and then it will continuously grow from its stem, so you don't really need like extra seeds. These are found in like mob drops and chests. And melons are also similar to pumpkins. They're also seeds, and you find them from chests, tradings, and all this stuff. Torchflower seeds are kind of unique. They're only mob drops, and they're kind of hard to get. I'll go more into that later. Pitcher flowers are also the same thing as torch flowers. They're kind of rare. They're only mob drops. Some crops actually do not require farmland, so things like sugarcane, it just needs like to be placed near water on an earth block, so like dirt, sand. And cactus also only need to be placed in sand. They can be found in chests though, or like throughout the desert. Sweet berries are placed on dirt. You can right click them to just pick them off instead of just breaking the crop, and you can find these guys in chests. Glowberries are a berry that you actually have to place on the ceiling because these are from cave vines, and you gotta right click to pick them off like the other berries. Cocoa beans are only farmed on jungle logs, so you have to actually, it's specifically grown on jungle logs, so you're gonna need jungle logs. Both red and brown mushrooms require dark areas to like spread themselves and grow. Nether wart is requiring soul sand. You just need to place it on soul sand and it will grow. And chorus fruit is just endstone, so just place it on endstone and you're going to have it grow. Although you specifically need a flowering chorus fruit, so just remember that. Now fishing, you can usually fish in like any type of water, so things like ponds, lakes, rivers, even aquifers, you can do that. And there's actually different methods of fishing. So there's physical fishing, which is just killing the fish yourself, and usually when you do this, you can actually get some bone meal for that. There's also tactical fishing, which uses a bucket which is made with 3 iron, and how you do that is you right click on a fish with a bucket of water in order to capture the fish in the bucket, and from there you can actually move the fish and just take it out by right clicking again. So you can make like aquariums with this one. And then there's the obvious one, which is just fishing, which requires a fishing rod, which is 3 sticks on 2 strings. And basically what you do is you right click to throw out a bobber slash a hook, and doing that will use the rod's durability once per use on like water or like a mob, and throwing it in the water will cause it to like float in the water, and it's just gonna be a waiting game from that point on. After like a little while, a trail particle is gonna like show up as like a little V in the water. This trail is basically like your catch, so you want to wait for it to bite onto the hook, and once it does, you want to quickly reel it in with right click again. Missing it causes it to flee, obviously. And there's 3 categories of loot that you can get from fishing. So the first one is the fish category, which includes cod, salmon, tropical fish, and pufferfish. The next one is the junk category. This is pretty common as well. This will include lily pads, bowls, fishing rods, leather boots, rotten flesh, bones, strings, sticks, water bottles, ink sacs, and triple water hooks. And the last one is a little rare. This is called the treasure loot table, and this one includes name tags, saddles, enchanted books, fishing rods that are enchanted, bows that are also enchanted, and nautilus shells. Now, in order to ride a transport, you're going to have to right click on it, and to get off of it, you press your sneak button. So usually that would be shift, but if you've changed it, it's whatever it is. And there's multitude of different transportations. So the first one I'm going to talk about are mine carts, which is made with 5 iron ingots in a U shape, and it can have up to 1 rideable entity / player. And it's also a controllable transport, so you can press W to move forward, S to move back, but it's very slow. And there's multiple types. So there's the standard one where you can ride. There's the one with the chest and functions as a chest. There's one with a furnace, and if you insert coal, it powers it to move. There's a hopper one, which functions just like a hopper, which grabs items above it. And then there's a TNT one that just blows up. There's also a command block one, which holds a command block, but that one's only creative only, so I don't know how much we're gonna use that. And the max speed of a minecart is around 8 blocks per second, and it requires tracks to be placed down and ridden. And tracks can be placed in different rotations, so there's like a left, right, up, down, all of that. And there's different types of tracks. So for example, there's the standard one, which is 1 stick and 6 iron. There's a powered one, which is 1 stick, 1 redstone, and 6 gold. That is what boosts the minecart and what makes you not have to like control it all the time. The activator rail is 2 sticks, 1 redstone torch, and 6 iron, and once it's activated, it kicks out the rider, blows up TNT, deactivates hopper. It's kind of just a redstone signal. And the last one is the detector rail, which is 1 redstone, 1 stone pressure plate, and 6 iron ingots, which will send out a redstone signal when a minecart passes over it. The next one is the boats, and these are made with 5 types of any planks in a U shape, excluding the stem planks, and up to 2 players can, or like an entity can ride these. And these are obviously placed in water to be ridden in water, but you can also place these on lands, though it's a little bit slow. And placing it on ice actually makes it really fast. So that's just like one thing a lot of people use. They use like fast boat rides to get to place. There's also a chest variant, which is made with 1 boat and 1 chest, and obviously it just holds a chest that you can use. And the axe is used to break the boat fastest. Now, horses are found in the plains biomes. They're also found in other places like savannas. And the speed varies depending on the outcome of the horse or like the offspring. So, for example, some are faster than others, slower than others, stronger than others, so on. And these guys cannot be ridden on water, and they require a saddle to be ridden on. They can also wear horse armor, and I'll talk more about horses later. Next is the llama, and these are found mostly in savanna and windswept hills, and they can be ridden. It requires a carpet though. You can't really control them, but you can also leash them. They obviously cannot be ridden in water. All of the animals usually cannot be ridden in water. It's just a heads up. Leading them will actually create a caravan. That's when llamas follow the one who's being led, and they can all carry chests, which can be used on storage. And once again, more details later in the mob section. Now, donkeys can be found in the plains and savannas. They also require a saddle, but they can also carry a chest and be used as storage. And the difference between this and a llama is that they can be controlled and obviously cannot be ridden on water. and more details later. Now, mules are only found by breeding horses with donkeys. They're pretty much the same as donkeys. You can carry a chest, they need to be ridden with a saddle, and they can be controlled, cannot ride on water. Really, it's not much different from a donkey. So, now camels are only found in desert villages, and actually 2 players can ride these guys, and they require a saddle, and if you press the sprint button, you can actually go faster, and these guys cannot be ridden in water, obviously. Now, pigs are a little bit different. What they are, they require a saddle and a carrot on a stick. That's the only way to control these guys. If you right click a carrot on a stick, it's going to go faster, but it's going to use up 1 durability. And these guys also cannot be ridden on water. Striders are found in the Nether, and they also require a saddle, but also a fungus on a stick, and they work very similar to a pig. Obviously, if you right click them with a fungus on a stick, it's going to make them go faster, and they cannot be ridden in water. Actually, they can't even be in water. They're going to die if they're in water, and these are used for traveling across lava. Now, the skeleton horse is found during thunderstorms. These are usually found from skeleton traps. I'll go into those later. And they require a saddle to be ridden. Now, the things with these guys is that they can actually be ridden in water, and that's like one of the main big differences between these guys and a horse. Now, the zombie horse is actually unattainable. It's only in the creative inventory, and they're also like pretty much just a skeleton horse reskinned. I just thought I should include it. Last is the elytra, and these are found in end ships, and these can only be equipped on the chest slot, and they have around 432 durability, just to like let you know. And in order to like use these, you first have to jump and then press the jump key again in order to start gliding. And gliding requires momentum, so for example, going down is going to increase your momentum, but going up is going to decrease your momentum. Basically, it's just gliding. But you can use firework rockets to boost your momentum, and the strength of the firework will affect the boost of the momentum. So for example, if you have a firework with strength 1, it's going to go a little bit far, but not too far. And then a max strength firework is going to go really far, but it can also kill you if you're not like careful. Now, there's many types of ways that you can find yourself around the world. Just one thing to note, the sun obviously rises from the east and it sets to the west. Now, compasses are made with 1 redstone and 4 iron, and they're going to naturally point to the world spawn. And if you take them to like a different dimension, it's not going to work. It's just going to act all sporadic, and it's not very useful. Now, there's also things called lodestone and lodestone compasses. Lodestones are made with 1 netherite ingot and 8 chiseled stone bricks, and right-clicking a lodestone with a compass is going to make the lodestone compass. And what lodestone compasses do is that it points to the lodestone rather than the world spawn. And you can have many different lodestones that have many different lodestone compasses, so you can have like little compasses that point to different locations. And in a dimension different from where the lodestone is for the lodestone compass, the compass is not going to work just like how a normal compass doesn't work in a different dimension. There's also the recovery compass, which is made with 1 compass and 8 echo shards. And what these do is it points to the last place that the player has died rather than the world spawn. And in different dimensions that the last death has not been, these will not work. And if the player has not died, obviously then these won't also not work. Now, maps are made with 1 compass and 8 papers, and these will create what is called an empty map. And using the map, we'll fill in the map with an overhead view of where you currently are. And the small little white pointer will indicate the player, and the green ones will indicate other players. And right-clicking on a banner with a map is going to mark the banner onto the map, and name banners will also appear on the map, so you can make little landmarks with names. Now, you can zoom out a map with a paper in a crafting table or a cartography table, and these maps can be zoomed out up to 4 times. And putting a map on an item frame will showcase the mapped land on the map. There's also explorer maps, which are maps that are exclusive to cartographer villagers, excluding like the treasure map. And these will point to the nearest structure of the specified map. And these are not going to change to new structures. It'll only stay to the one that it's currently showing. Now, there's many different types of explorer maps. So there's the ocean explorer, which points to the nearest ocean monument. the Woodland Explorer map, which points to the nearest woodland mansion, the Trial Explorer map, which points to the nearest trial chambers, and the Buried Treasure map, which is found on shipwrecks and ocean ruins and only points to the nearest buried treasure. Last but not least is the coordinates, which can be found in the debug menu, which is the F3 key. Now it's on the left side of the screen and it's going to show your X, Y, and Z coordinates. And so X and Y are your horizontal coordinates, and Y is your vertical coordinates. And these can help for like marking locations more specifically. So like where it specifically is in the world, you can mark it from the coordinates screen. A pickaxe can be made with stone, iron, gold, diamond, and netherite, and it's used to mine all types of stone, all types of minerals, and obsidian. The minimum pickaxe required for mining iron ore is a stone pickaxe. The minimum requirement for mining diamond ore is an iron pickaxe, and the minimum requirement for mining obsidian and ancient debris is a diamond pickaxe. Now, a shovel can also be made in wood, stone, iron, gold, diamond, and netherite, and it's used to mine all types of earth blocks, so things like dirt, sand, gravel, all that stuff. And right-clicking on dirt blocks will create a path block. Next is the axe, and that can also be made with wood, stone, iron, gold, diamond, and netherite, and it's used to mine all wood blocks from logs to planks, as well as melons and pumpkins. And right-clicking on a log will cause it to become a strip log. The hoe is also the same thing: wood, stone, iron, gold, diamond, netherite, and it's used to mine more nature blocks, so things like moss, scope, leaves, hay bales, netherwort. And right-clicking on dirt blocks is used to till farmland. A bucket is made with 3 iron in a V shape, and you right-click a liquid to pick it up, and then you can right-click it again to put it down. And it can be used to pick up water, lava, powdered snow, small aquatic mobs, and milk. And lava buckets can be used in a furnace as fuel source, and powdered snow, fish buckets, and water buckets can also be used to stop falls. Shears are made with 2 iron in a like kind of a slash shape, and you use it to mine wool blocks and certain nature blocks, so things like cobweb, vines, glow lichen, and leaves. And when you mine certain fragile blocks with shears, you can pick them up, so like cobweb, vines, the glow lichen, and leaves obviously. And right-clicking with certain things can interact with them. So for example, with sheep you'll gain wool without killing the sheep. With a beehive you can extract honeycomb. With any type of vine you can actually prevent it from growing. With a snow golem you can actually shear it to just become a snowman. With armored wolves you can remove the armor, and with bogs you can take off their mushrooms on their head. Flint and steel is made with 1 flint and 1 iron. Right-click it to create fires, and that uses up the flint and steel's durability once per use, and it can be used to light TNT, campfires, ignite creepers, light candles, and light up the nether portal. Fire charges are made with 1 blaze powder, 1 gunpowder, and 1 coal or charcoal, and it works basically the same as flint and steel. It's just a one-time use item though. Name tags are found through chests and trading. Naming a name tag in an anvil will create a named name tag, and if you right click a mob or like an entity with that name tag, it will name the mob whatever the name tag was named. Beads are made with 3 string and 1 slime ball, and if you right click a mob with a lead, it's going to lead the mob, and you can kind of force move the mob around with the lead. And if you right click a fence with the leaded mob, it's going to lead the mob to the fence. Quill is made with 1 feather, 1 book, and 1 ink sac, and right clicking will open the book, and you can write anything in the book that you want and create up to 50 pages worth of stories. And signing the book and giving it a title is going to create a written book, and written books cannot be edited, but you can still read them. A clock is made with 1 redstone and 4 gold ingots, and the item is going to slowly change visually from night to day over time, depending on like the time of day, and it acts as like it acts like a clock basically. Goat horns are found in pillager outposts as loot, but they can also get them from goats and screaming goats. And if you right click, it's going to cause the horn to play a goat sound. There's up to 8 unique sounds. Music discs are found throughout a lot of structures, but they're also a creeper drop under certain requirements. And they all play different songs when you put them in a jukebox. And there are up to 19 music discs. Cat is found in dungeons, ancient cities, woodland mansions, and creepers. 13 is also found in dungeons, ancient cities, woodland mansions, and creepers. Mellow key is found only by killing a creeper. Wait is also found by only killing a creeper. Other side is found in dungeons, strongholds, and ancient cities. Relic is found in trail ruins. Precipice is found in trial chamber vaults. Crater music box version is found in trial chamber decorated pots. Crater is found in trial chamber ominous vaults. Blocks is found by killing creepers. Strat is found by killing creepers. Chirp is found by killing creepers. Ward is found by killing creepers. Stall is found by killing creepers. Far is found by killing creepers. Maul is found by killing creepers. Eleven is found by killing creepers. 5 is found by ancient city. And Pigstep is found in Bastion remnants. Totem of Undyings are obtained by evokers by killing them, and they must be held in the hand or offhand to activate. So upon death, an animation will be played, and the item is going to be used, and the player will be revived. And it will grant around 45 seconds of regeneration 2, 40 seconds of fire resistance, and 5 seconds of absorption 2 upon revival. The spyglass is made with 1 amethyst shard and 2 copper. And if you right click with the spyglass, you will look into it, and you can see from very far, but it also slows down your turning vision when used. A brush is made with 1 copper ingot, 1 feather, and 1 stick. It can be used on suspicious blocks and armadillos. Using it on a suspicious block will use the brush once per block, and using it on the suspicious block will sift through the block, and it will show a little animation before popping out the loot from the suspicious block. Stopping the sifting on the block will undo the animation and not give you the loot. And right-clicking on an armadillo will brush it, and it will take around 16 durability per brush. Item frames are made with 1 leather and 8 sticks, and these function like a block, so you can place them on the floor, on the ceiling, or on the walls. Right-clicking them with an item will insert that item into the frame, and Right-clicking the item again with an item in it will rotate the item up to 360 degrees. Breaking the item frame will first eject the item in it, and named items can showcase their names. There's a glowing variant made with one item frame and one glowing insect, and these glowing frames ignore light levels and will always be visibly bright. Paintings are made with one wool and 8 sticks, and they function like blocks but are only available to be put on walls. Shooting a painting will cause it to break off, and there are 46 different sizes and varieties. For 1x1s, there's Kebab Med Tre Pepperoni, the Aztec, Albanian, the Aztec 2, target successfully bombed, Paradistrad, Wasteland, and Meditative. For 1x2, there's Wanderer, Graham, and Prairie Ride. For 2x1s, there's The Pool, Bonjour Monsieur Corbett, Sunset Dance, Seaside, and Creebet. For 2x2s, there's Match, Bust, The Stage is Set, The Void, Skull and Roses, Wither, Baroque, Humble, Earth, Water, Wind, and Fire. Those last 4 are only in the creative inventory. Next is the 3x3s, which is Bouquet, Cave Bird, Kotan, and Boss, Fern, Almonds, Sunflowers, and Tide. For 3x4, there's Backyard and Pond. For 4x2s, there's Fighters, Changing, Finding, Low Mist, and Passage. For 4x3s, there's Mortal Coil and Kong. And finally, for 4x4s, there's Pointer, Pig Scene, Skull on Fire, Unpacked, and Orb. Saddles are obtained through loot chests, ravagers, fishing, or trading. You right-click on a rideable mob to attach the saddle, so those would be horses, pigs, striders, camels, and more. And it makes the rideable mobs controllable. Excluding the pig and strider, those require their sticks. Firework rockets are made with paper and 1 to 3 gunpowder. The gunpowder will change the strength of the firework rocket. These can be used to boost elytra velocity and can be used with crossbows and ammunition. You can use firework stars to create patterns using firework rockets. In order to craft a firework star, you will need at least 1 gunpowder and 1 dye of any color. You can also add extra cosmetic items. A fire charge will make it louder and larger. A golden nugget will give it a star shape. A mauve head will give it a creeper shape, a feather will give it a burst effect, a glowstone dust will give it a twinkle effect, and diamond will give it a trail effect. An Eye of Ender can be made with 1 ender pearl and 1 blaze powder. Right-clicking it will throw it into the air, and it will move to the nearest stronghold. After 20 seconds, it will pop out of the air and fall to the ground, but it will also have a 20% chance for it to break upon use. Armor can be crafted, found in structures, traded, and dropped as loot. All armor types have a different level of protection, toughness, and perks. Leather armor is made with leather, and full set will give you 6 armor points. Wearing one piece will grant immunity to freezing, and leather boots allow players to walk onto powdered snow. These can also be dyed. Chainmail armor is only obtainable through loot, mob drops, chests, and trading, and a full set will give you 12 armor points. Gold armor is made with gold ingots, and a full set will give you 11 armor points, and wearing one piece of armor grants passivity towards piglins, except for brutes. Iron armor is made with iron ingots and will give a full set of 15 armor points. Diamond armor is made with diamonds, and a full set gives 20 armor points and 8 armor toughness. Netherite armor requires netherite ingots and a netherite upgrade template. A full set will give 20 armor points, 12 armor toughness, and 4 knockback resistance. And all pieces have fire immunity, so they cannot burn in fire or lava. A turtle helmet is made with 5 skew and gives a total of 2 armor points. It will grant around 10 seconds of water breathing upon initial dives. Leather horse armor is crafted with 6 leather, and you right click a horse to apply it onto the horse. It will give around 3 armor points, and it can be dyed. Iron horse armor is obtainable only through chests, loots, and trading, and it gives around 5 armor points. Gold horse armor is also obtainable through chests and trading, and it gives 7 armor points. Diamond horse armor is only obtainable through chests, and it will give you 11 armor points and 2 armor toughness. Wolf armor is crafted using 6 armadillo skew. When worn on a wolf, it will give 11 armor points, and dogs will take no physical damage. They can still take other forms of damage though. All damage will go into its armor and go through its durability. The armor will begin to crack over time as it breaks visually, and right-clicking an armored dog with armadillo skew can repair the armor. If you want to remove the armor, right-click it with shears, and the armor can be dyed in any color. Combat in this game is time-based, so the more you spam, the weaker your attacks are going to be. The sword icon in the middle indicates the time it takes for a weapon to fully charge, so fully charged weapons will deal the base damage shown, and a non-fully charged weapon will do less damage. Timing a jump can also deal a critical strike, which will deal more damage, and there are many different weapons to use. The sword comes in wood to netherite tier, and it has a 1.6 attack speed, which is very fast, and a fully charged attack can do a sweeping attack, which can hit multiple mobs. An axe comes in wood to netherite tier, and it has an attack speed of 1, so it's a little slow but not too slow, and it does 2 more base damage than its sword counterpart. They can also disable shields. Shields are crafted with 1 iron ingot and 6 wood planks, and holding right click will lift up the shield, and it can block physical damage and projectiles, and it has an average of half a second of discharge time. And if you craft it with a banner, you can create custom banner shields with the design of the banner. Tridents are obtained by drowned and volts, and have a base damage of 9 and a 1.1 attack speed, so around the same as a axe. And you can right click to throw the trident, which does a ranged base damage of 8. A bow is made with 3 sticks and 3 strings. It requires at least arrows, tipped arrows, or spectral arrows to fire. Hold right click to pull the bow back, and then let go of right click to fire the arrow. The strength of the arrow is dependent on the duration the player will hold the shot. A crossbow is crafted with 3 sticks, 2 strings, 1 iron, and 1 tripwire hook, and it requires either arrows or firework rockets as ammunition. In order to load it, you need to hold right click for around 2.5 or 3 seconds, Once loaded, you can right-click again to fire. A mace is crafted with 1 heavy core and 1 breeze rod. It has a base damage of 6 and a 0.6 attack speed, which is one of the slowest weapons in the game. The damage will increase the longer that you fall. The first 3 blocks fallen increase the damage by 3 hit points per block. The next 5 blocks will increase the damage by 2 hit points per block, and then every block after that will increase the damage by 1 hit point per block. Hitting a mob after falling 1.5 blocks at minimum will create a smash attack. Smash attacks can cause mobs within 2.5 blocks to be knocked back from the player, and it will also negate all fall damage the player should have taken. Arrows are used with 1 stick and 1 flint and 1 feather, and is used as ammunition. Spectral arrows are also made with 1 arrow and 4 glowstone dust, and upon hit, a mob is given the glowing effect for 10 seconds. Tipped arrows are crafted with 8 arrows and 1 lingering potion, and the potion effect is dependent on the lingering potion effect, so it can have any effect that a lingering potion has. When hit, it will inflict the said potion effect. A wind charge is made with 1 breeze rod, which will give you 4 wind charges. Right click will throw the wind charge and can knock back mobs and players. Well-timed shots can also launch a player higher into the air. End crystals are made with 7 glass, 1 eye of ender, and 1 gas tier, and can only be placed on obsidian and bedrock blocks. Upon hitting the crystal, it will blow up and can do from 21 hearts of damage to 65 hearts of damage, which is 45 to 128 hit points. Lighting is a core aspect of the game that allows the players to see in the dark, prevent mobs from spawning, and grows plants. Most hostile mobs require a light level of 0 or below to spawn, and most passive mobs require a light level of 9 and up to spawn. Plants also require a light level of 9 and up to grow. Certain mob spawners can also spawn mobs at light level 12 or below, and light can be passed through transparent blocks like glass, grates, and water. There's also different types of light strengths depending on the source block. For light level 1, there's brewing stands, brown mushrooms, small amethyst buds, dragon egg, skulk sensors, calibrated skulk sensors, and the end portal frames. For light level 2, there's medium amethyst buds. Light level 3 includes magma blocks, lit candles, and respawn anchors. Light level 4 includes large amethyst buds, oxidized copper bulbs, and trial spawners that are inactive. Light level 5 is an amethyst cluster. Light level 6 are skulk catalysts, double light candles, sea pickles, and inactive vaults. Light level 7 is glow lichen, a respawn anchor with 2 charges, a redstone torch, an enchanting table, and an ender chest. Light level 8 is a weathered copper bulb and an activated trial spawner. Light level 9 is 3 candles, redstone ore, and 2 sea pickles. Light level 10 is crying obsidian, a soul campfire, a soul torch, a soul lantern, or soul fire. Light level 11 is the nether portal, or a respawn anchor with 3 charges. Light level 12 includes 3 sick pickles, 4 lit candles, an activated vault, and a weathered copper bulb. Light level 13 is a furnace, a blast furnace, and a smoker. Light level 14 are torches, cave vines, and end rods. Light level 15 is redstone lamps, glowstone, copper bulbs, respawn anchors that are fully charged, frog lights, sea lanterns, shroom lights, lava, campfires, end portal blocks, jack-o'-lanterns, sea pickles, beacons, and conduits. Caves are randomly generated terrain under the earth that are filled with resources, biomes, and structures. They have 2 main layers. First is the stone layer, which then transitions to the deep slate layer around Y6. There are different types of cave generation. The first one is spaghetti caves. These are medium-sized tunnels that are narrow and often curving. The next one are noodle caves, which are small-sized tunnels that are cramped and often intersect to other noodle caves. These are the more classic style of caves that many veteran players probably know about. Next are the Chief's Caves. These are big caverns that are vast and sprawling. They are often very dark and allow many mobs to spawn. Next are ravines, and these are long-sized carvings of the earth, and they are more of a classic style of caves that veterans may know about. Next are noise pillars. These are pillars of stone that are usually found in cheese caves. These are just kind of decorations to fill the caves in. Aquifers are varying sizes of underwater lakes found with magma blocks for bubble columns for players to breathe in. There are also lava aquifers, which are just aquifers but with lava, and these usually generate below Y0. Carver caves are tunnels and rooms that branch off from one another and are usually used as entrances into the caves from the surface. Ore generation has a varying amount of generation depending on the Y level. Some ores generate more higher in the mountains, and some generate more lower in caves. All ores have a stone and a deep slate variant, and some ores generate more unexposed while others generate more exposed. Coal is found from Y levels 0 to 320, which is the height limit, and most commonly found at Y level 45 and high altitudes. The requirements for mining coal is a wooden pickaxe, and it does not generate at Y level 0 or below. Iron generates from the max Y level to the minimum Y level, and are most commonly found around Y level 14 and high altitudes. It requires at least a stone pickaxe to mine and does not spawn at Y levels 73 to 79. Copper ore can be found in Y levels -16 to 112 and are most commonly found at Y level 43. It requires a minimum of a stone pick and does not spawn at Y levels -17 and below, and 122 and above. They can also be more commonly found in dripstone cave biomes. Gold can be found in Y levels 32 to 64, but are most commonly found around Y levels -18. It requires a minimum of an iron pickaxe to mine and does not spawn at layers 33 and above, except for Badland Biomes, which can spawn in the maximum Y level to the minimum Y level. Lapis lazuli can be found in levels -64 to 64, but are most commonly found around Y level -2. It requires a minimum of a stone pickaxe to mine and are usually found unexposed. They do not spawn at layers -1 and above. Redstone can be found around Y level -64 to 16 and are most commonly found around Y level -59. They require at minimum an iron pick and do not spawn at layers 15 and above. Emeralds can be found around Y levels -16 to 320 and are most commonly found around Y level 85. They require a minimum iron pick and do not spawn at layers -17 and below. But spawn rates also increase at higher altitudes. Diamonds can be found around Y levels -64 to 16 and are most commonly found around Y level -59. They require a minimum iron pick and do not spawn at layers -16 and above. The spawn rates do increase the lower altitudes you go. Quartz ore is generated from the max Y level to the minimum Y level in the Nether and are most commonly found around Y level 114. They can also be most commonly found up to layer 120 and requires minimum wood pickaxe. Gold ore generates from the maximum Y to the minimum Y and are most commonly found around Y level 114, but they're also found most commonly up to Y95. They require a wooden pickaxe to mine. Ancient debris also generates from the maximum Y to the minimum Y and are most commonly found around Y level 16. They're also commonly found up to Y layer 23 and requires at minimum a diamond pickaxe. Ore veins can contain up to thousands of ores and are distinguished by their strips of specified rocks and trail of ores and contain raw ore blocks in between the normal ore blocks. There are two types of ore veins, the first one being the copper ore vein, which spawns at the stone level and distinguished by copper ore and granite blocks and can sometimes contain raw copper blocks. The other ore vein is the iron ore vein and are found at deep slate level and are distinguished by their iron ore and tough blocks. They can also sometimes contain raw iron blocks. Functional blocks are blocks that have some sort of right-click interaction. Some have interfaces and some are in-game. The anvil is made with 3 iron blocks and 5 iron ingots. Anvils have an interface. The first slot is a priority item and the second slot is a combination item. The top slot is for naming the item. Only certain items will work with the anvil, such as weapons, tools, and enchantments. Repairing, applying enchantments, renaming all require experience for the anvil. There is an experience limit to how much one item can take before it stops working. and it will be indicated by the too expensive text after it reaches its limit. Anvils will get worn down over time and will be visually seen from the normal variant, the chip variant, and the damage variant. The composter is made with 7 wood slabs of any type. Right-clicking on it with nature blocks and certain foods will attempt to fill the composter up. Once it is full all the way, you will be granted 1 piece of bone meal. Certain plants have more chances of filling up the composter than others. For 30%, it is wheat seeds, beetroot seeds, melon seeds, pumpkin seeds, porch flower seeds, pitcher pods, dried kelp, pink petals, glowberries, sweet berries, leaves, grass, seagrass, moss carpet, hanging roots, small drip leaf, kelp, mangrove roots, and all types of saplings. For 50%, it's cactus, sugarcane, vines, twisting vines, weeping vines, dried kelp blocks, tall grass, flowering azalea leaves, glow lichen, melon slices, and nether sprouts. For 65%, it's apples, beetroots, carrots, potatoes, melon blocks, pumpkin blocks, cocoa beans, wheat, crimson roots, warp roots, mushrooms, mushroom stems, netherwort, fungi, all natural flowers, wither roses, ferns, large ferns, lily pads, big drip leaves, moss, sea pickles, azaleas, and spore blossoms. For 85%, it's mushroom blocks, hay bale, flowering azaleas, netherwort blocks, warpwort blocks, porch flowers, pitcher plants, bread, baked potatoes, and cookies. For 100%, it's pumpkin pie and cake. A stone cutter is made with 3 stone and 1 iron ingot. It can change any stone block into its variants and is usually a more efficient and cost-reducing method. The list of blocks are: stones can be turned into stone stairs, stone slabs, stone brick stairs, stone brick slabs, stone brick walls, and chiseled stone brick. Cobblestone can turn into cobblestone stairs, cobblestone slabs, and cobblestone walls. Mossy cobblestone can turn into mossy cobblestone stairs, mossy cobblestone slabs, and mossy cobblestone walls. Smooth stone can turn into a smooth stone slab. Stone bricks can turn into stone brick stairs, stone brick slabs, stone brick walls, and chiseled stone brick. Mossy stone bricks can be turned into mossy stone brick stairs, mossy stone brick slabs, and mossy stone brick walls. Granite can turn into granite stairs, granite slabs, granite walls, polished granite stairs, and polished granite slabs. Polished granite can turn into polished granite stairs and polished granite slabs. Diorite can turn into diorite stairs, diorite slabs, diorite walls, polished diorite stairs, and polished diorite slabs. Polished diorite can turn into polished diorite stairs and polished diorite slabs. Andesite can turn into andesite stairs, andesite slabs, andesite walls, polished andesite stairs, and polished andesite slabs. Polished andesite can turn into polished andesite slabs and polished andesite stairs. Cobbled deep slate can turn into cobbled deep slate stairs, cobbled deep slate slabs, cobbled deep slate wall, chiseled deep slate, polished deep slate stairs, polished deep slate slabs, polished deep slate walls, deep slate bricks, deep slate brick stairs, deep slate brick slabs, deep slate brick walls, deep slate tiles, deep slate tile stairs, deep slate tile slabs, and deep slate tile walls. Polished deep slate can turn into polished deep slate stairs, polished deep slate slabs, and polished deep slate walls. Deep slate bricks can turn into deep slate brick stairs, deep slate brick slabs, and deep slate brick walls. Deep slate tiles can turn into deep slate tile stairs, deep slate tile slabs, and deep slate tile walls. Tuff can turn into tough stairs, tough slabs, tough walls, chiseled tuff, polished tough stairs, polished tough slabs, polished tough walls, tough brick stairs, tough brick slabs, tough brick walls, and chiseled tough bricks. Polished tuff can turn into polished tough stairs, polished tough slabs, polished tough walls, tough brick stairs, tough brick slabs, tough brick walls, and chiseled tough bricks. Tough bricks can turn into tough brick stairs, tough brick slabs, tough brick walls, and chiseled tough bricks. Bricks can turn into brick stairs, brick slabs, and brick walls. Mud bricks can turn into mud brick stairs, mud brick slabs, and mud brick walls. Sandstone can turn into sandstone stairs, sandstone slabs, sandstone walls, chiseled sandstone, cut sandstone, and cut sandstone slabs. Smooth sandstone can turn into smooth sandstone stairs and smooth sandstone slabs. Cut sandstone can turn into cut sandstone slabs. Red sandstone can turn into red sandstone stairs, red sandstone slabs, red sandstone walls, chiseled red sandstone, cut red sandstone, and cut red sandstone slabs.
Smooth red sandstone can turn into smooth red sandstone stairs or smooth red sandstone slabs. Cut red sandstone can turn into cut red sandstone slabs.
Prismarine can turn into prismarine stairs, prismarine slabs, and prismarine walls. Prismarine brick can turn into prismarine brick stairs, prismarine brick slabs. Dark prismarine can turn into dark prismarine stairs and dark prismarine slabs. Nether brick can turn into nether brick stairs, nether brick slabs, nether brick wall, and chiseled nether brick. Red nether brick can turn into red nether brick stairs, nether brick slabs, and nether brick wall. Basalt can turn into polished basalt, and blackstone can turn into blackstone stairs, blackstone slabs, blackstone walls, polished blackstone, chiseled polished blackstone stairs, polished blackstone slabs, polished blackstone walls, polished blackstone bricks, polished blackstone brick stairs, polished blackstone brick slabs, and polished blackstone brick wall. Polished blackstone can turn into chiseled polished blackstone stairs, polished blackstone slabs, polished blackstone wall, polished blackstone bricks, polished blackstone brick stairs, polished blackstone brick slabs, and polished blackstone brick wall.
Polished blackstone bricks can be made into polished blackstone brick slabs, polished blackstone brick stairs, and polished blackstone brick walls.
Quartz blocks can turn into quartz stairs, quartz slabs, chiseled quartz bricks, and quartz pillar. Smooth quartz can turn into smooth quartz stairs and smooth quartz slabs. Endstone can turn into endstone bricks, endstone brick stairs, endstone brick slabs, and endstone brick wall. Endstone brick can turn into endstone brick stairs, endstone brick slabs, and endstone brick wall. Purple block can turn into purple stairs, purple slabs, and purple pillar. All stages of copper, waxed or unwaxed, can turn into cut copper stairs, cut copper slabs, chiseled copper, and copper grates. And all stages of cut copper, waxed or unwaxed, can turn into cut copper stairs, cut copper slabs, or chiseled copper. I'm sorry if I flubbed my words at that. That was a very long tongue twister. Ugh. The cartography table is made with 2 paper and 4 wood planks. The top slot is the priority item, and the bottom slot is the combination item. The slot on the right is the product slot, and the recipes for the cartography table are map plus paper will zoom out the map, a map and an empty map will duplicate the map, and a map and a glass plane will lock the map. A grindstone is made with 1 stone slab, 2 sticks, and 2 wooden planks. Right-click to open its interface, and its left slot are its combination slots, and its right slot is its product slot. Pushing 2 of the same items will repair it, and it does not require XP. And if the item is enchanted, it will remove the enchantment and give back a small amount of experience, and it will also reset the repair cost for an anvil. The loom is made with 2 string and 2 wooden planks, and can be used to design patterns more efficiently, and up to 6 patterns can be put on per banner. There are 3 slots: the banner slot, the palette slot, and the banner slot. The banner slot is for banners of any color, and they are required for the foundation of creating a banner pattern. The palette slot is for adding a pattern to any banner. You need to insert a die which will allow the player to choose a design, and it will use up the die. The pattern slot is for banner patterns. Inserting a banner pattern will allow unique patterns to be applied to the banner. The list of banner patterns that you can obtain are the creeper banner pattern, which is 1 paper and 1 creeper head, the flower banner pattern, which is 1 paper, 1 oxeye daisy, the skull banner pattern, which is 1 paper, 1 wither skull, the thing banner pattern, which is 1 paper and 1 enchanted golden apple, the globe banner pattern, which is found by trading from a cartographer villager, the snout banner pattern, which is loot from the bastion remnant, the guster banner pattern, which is found in trial chamber vaults, and the flow banner pattern, which is found in trial chamber ominous vaults. Cauldrons are made with 7 iron ingots, and you can right click with a bucket to add liquids into its storage, and it can store water, lava, and powdered snow. These can also be filled through rain, snow, and dripstone. and right-clicking a filled cauldron with dyed leather armor or a shulker box will remove its color, and right-clicking with a design banner will remove its top layer of the pattern. Armor stands are made with 6 sticks and 1 smooth stone slab, and you can interact with it using armor. It will equip the armor onto the stand, and in order to get it back, right-click with an empty hand. Smithing table is made with 2 iron and 4 wooden planks, and can design gear and upgrade your gear. The slot on the right is the product slot, and to use the smithing table, you need 3 resources. The first is a smithing template, the second is a gear, and the third is a resource. Bee nests can be found on trees, and beehives are crafted with 3 honeycomb and 6 wood planks. They can hold up to 3 bees, and bees will fly and fill it with honey over time. It will show visually when it's ready to harvest, and you will right-click with either shears or an empty bottle for honeycomb or a honey bottle. Bells are found through trading and villages, and can be placed on the ground, the wall, and the ceiling. They will ring when they're hit, and nearby villagers will go into a panicked state and head to their beds. Ringing a bell near illager mobs will inflict them with a glowing effect. A chiseled bookshelf is made with 3 wood slabs and 6 wood planks, and right-clicking it with a book will insert the book into the slot. Any book item can be used, from a book, an enchanted book, a written book, or a booking quill. Right-clicking it with an empty hand will take the book out of the slot. A lectern is made with 1 bookshelf and 4 wooden slabs. Right-click it with a booking quill will put the booking quill onto the lectern. Right-clicking again will allow multiple players to read the booking quill or written book at once. A flower pot is made with 3 bricks. You can put flowers into the pot and take them back. Only small flowers can be held into the pot. A decorated pot is made with 4 bricks or 4 sherds and hold up to 1 stack of an item in a pot. Breaking the pot will cause the items to drop as well as the pot. Breaking the pot with any tool will cause the pot to also break into pieces. Scaffolding is made with 1 string and 6 bamboo and can be used to climb around. Right-clicking scaffolding with scaffolding will place it forward, and holding shift will place it upwards. There's a 7-block limit before airborne scaffolding will require a new foundation. Holding jump will climb up the scaffolding, and holding sneak will climb down the scaffolding. Breaking any foundation destroys all relying airborne scaffolding blocks. Storage blocks have their own inventory that are usually up to 27 item slots. There are different storage blocks with different properties. A chest is made with 8 wooden planks in a donut shape and requires 1 block of space above it to open. You can place 1 chest next to the another chest to create a double chest, which will double the amount of inventory. A barrel is made with 2 slabs and 6 planks, and does not require any space to open. A trap chest is made with 1 tripwire hook and 1 chest, and when open it will send out a redstone signal. An ender chest is made with 1 eye of ender and 8 obsidian blocks, and requires a block of space above it to open. Ender chests hold a shared inventory with all other ender chests, and breaking the ender chest does not drop any of the items inside. A shulker box is made with 1 chest and 2 shulker shells, and requires 1 block of space above it to open. It can be dyed, and when broken, the items in the shulker box will stay inside, almost like a backpack. Different sides of the signs can also have different writings/designs. Right-clicking a die with a sign will dye the sign the color. Right-clicking a sign with a glow ink sac will have the text glow, and using a normal ink sac will reset its state. Using honeycomb will also keep it at its current state. A normal sign is made with 6 wood planks and 1 stick, and can be placed on floors and walls. Hanging signs are made with 2 chains and 6 strip logs, and can be placed on walls, ceilings, and the bottom of fences and walls. A jukebox is made with 1 diamond and 8 wooden planks. Right-clicking with a music disc will have it play the music. Sponges are found in ocean monuments and by killing elder guardians. When placed in water, it will absorb water up to 7 blocks away. After absorbing, it becomes a wet sponge and needs to be dried out. You can dry it out by smelting it in a furnace or placing it in the nether. Brewing is a system where you make potions which can cause different effects towards the player or mobs. They require a brewing stand, which is made with 1 blaze rod and 3 cobblestone or cobble deep slate. In order to brew anything, you are required a 1 blaze powder, 1 water bottle, and 1 resource. You put the blaze powder into the fuel slot, and 1 blaze powder will last for at least 20 tries. Water bottles are the foundation for all potion products, and failure to make a potion can result in these potions: the mundane potion, when you add ingredients for effects, and a thick potion, when you add ingredients for modifications. In order to start making potions, you start with nether wart to create an awkward potion, which you can then add ingredients for the desired potion. Here are a list of ingredients. Magma cream will create fire resistance. A golden carrot will create night vision. A pufferfish will create water breathing. A phantom membrane will create slow falling. Blaze powder will create strength. A breeze rod will create wind charged. Sugar will create speed. Rabbit's foot will create jump boost. Turtle helmet will create the potion of turtle master. Glistering melon will create healing potions. Gas tear will create regeneration potions. Spider eyes will create poison. Stone will create infested. Slime blocks will create oozing. And cobwebs will create weaving. Using a fermented spider eye after creating a potion can corrupt the potion. Here's a list of potions that can become corrupted. Corrupting night vision will turn into invisibility. Corrupting strength will turn into weakness, although this does not require the previous potion. Corrupting speed creates slowness. Corrupting jump also creates slowness. Corrupting healing will craft harming. Corrupting poison will also create harming. You can also modify the potions. With redstone dust, you can increase the longevity of a potion. With glowstone dust, you can enhance the power of a potion. With gunpowder, you can create slash potions. And with dragon's breath, you can create lingering potions. Enchanting is a way to change your gears to have different effects and powers. And there are different ways to enchant, such as enchanting tables and anvils, and certain enchantments cannot be combined with others. So for example, protection cannot be combined with fire protection. Enchanting requires experience, and a way to get experience is by killing mobs, mining ores, smelting, mining skulk, breeding, fishing, and trading. The enchanting table is made with 1 book, 2 diamonds, and 4 obsidian, and it has 2 slots, the item slot and the lapis slot. The item slot is for the item that you want to enchant, which can be weapons, armors, or tools, and the lapis slot is a requirement to enchant with the enchanting table. You will need from up to 1 to 3 lapis lazuli. The enchantments will depend on the level of the enchanting table. To increase the level of the enchanting table, place bookshelves around it in a target shape to increase the level of enchantments. The maximum amount of bookshelves you will need will be 15 around the table, shown by a level 30 cost. Certain enchantments can't be found by enchanting table and can only be found through treasures or trading. For example, mending and soul speed. Enchanted books can be found from structure loot and can be applied with the anvil. Here is the list of enchantments. Protection is an armor enchantment with up to 4 levels and will protect from most forms of damage. Fire protection is an armor enchantment up to 4 levels and will greatly protect from fire damage and will put out burning faster. Projectile protection is an armor enchantment up to 4 levels and will greatly protect from projectiles. Blast protection is an armor enchantment that goes up to 4 levels and will greatly protect from explosion damage and reduces knockback. Thorns is an armor enchantment up to 3 levels and will need to be found by an enchanted book except for the chestplate. This enchantment will deal damage back to its attacker if hurt. Aqua Affinity is a helmet enchantment with only 1 level. It will increase mining speed underwater. Respiration is a helmet enchantment with up to 3 levels and will increase the breathing time underwater. Sneak is a leggings enchantment with up to 3 levels and is a treasure book found only in ancient cities. It will increase your speed when sneaking. Feather Falling is a boots enchantment up to 4 levels and will reduce the fall damage taken. Death Strider is also a boots enchantment up to 3 levels, which will increase the movement speed underwater. Soul Speed is a boots enchantment up to 3 levels, and is a treasure book from Bastions and Bartering, and will increase movement speed on Soul Sand and Soul Soil. Frostwalker is also a boots enchantment up to 2 levels, and is a treasure book found in Structures and Trading. These will briefly freeze nearby waters, allowing you to walk on the water. Efficiency is a tool enchantment up to 5 levels and will increase the mining speed of the tool. Silk Touch is a tool enchantment with 1 level and will allow players to pick up blocks in their current stage, for example, grass and glass. Fortune is another tool enchantment with up to 3 levels and will increase the drop rate for mined blocks. Unbreaking is able to be put on anything that can be enchanted and will have up to 3 levels, and will increase durability. Sharpness is a sword and axe enchantment which can go up to 5 levels, which will increase the damage. Smite is also a sword and axe enchantment up to 5 levels and will greatly increase damage to the undead. Bane of Arthropods is a sword and axe enchantment up to 5 levels, which will greatly increase the damage to arthropods, those being things like silverfish, spiders, and bees. They will also inflict slowness to arthropods. Fire Aspect is a sword and a mace enchantment up to 2 levels and will set the target on fire. Sweeping Edge is a sword enchantment up to 3 levels and will increase the sweeping attack damage from a sword. Knockback is a sword enchantment up to 2 levels and will increase the knockback from swords. Power is a bow enchantment up to 5 levels and will increase the damage for bows. Punch is a bow enchantment up to 2 levels and increases the knockback for bows. Flame is a bow enchantment up to 1 level and will shoot flaming arrows. Infinity is a bow enchantment with 1 level and allows the player to infinitely shoot arrows as long as he has 1 arrow. Quick Charge is a crossbow enchantment up to 3 levels that gives the crossbow a faster reloading time. Piercing is a crossbow enchantment with 4 levels which allows arrows to pierce through mobs. Multi-Shot is a crossbow enchantment with 1 level that allows you to shoot 3 projectiles at the same time. Impaling is a trident enchantment with 5 levels that increases the damage to underwater mobs. Loyalty is a trident enchantment with 3 levels which returns the trident that's been thrown back to the player. Channeling is a trident enchantment with 1 level that will summon lightnings on targets during thunderstorms. Density is a mace enchantment with 5 levels that increases the damage by smash attacks per block fallen. Breach is a mace enchantment with 4 levels which reduces the armor protection. Windburst is a mace enchantment with 3 levels and is a treasure enchantment found in trial chambers. It creates a windburst upon a smash attack, allowing you to chain attacks. Lure is a fishing rod enchantment with 3 levels and reduces the time for the next bite. Lug of the Sea is a fishing rod enchantment with 3 levels and increases the chance for getting treasure loot. Curse of Vanishing can be enchanted on all enchantables, is 1 level, and is a treasure enchanting book found from Structures or Trading. Any item enchanted with Curse of Vanishing will vanish upon death. Curse of Binding is an armor enchantment of 1 level and is a treasure book that can be only found in Structures and Trading. Armor enchanted with this enchantment cannot be taken off unless the user breaks it or dies. Mending can be applied to anything that's enchantable, is 1 level, and is a treasure enchantment found in Structures and Trading. Any item with Mending can be repaired with experience. Beacons and Conduits are special blocks that require certain builds to be activated, and they can offer perks to the player. A beacon is made with 1 nether star, 3 obsidian, and 5 glass, and requires a minimum 3x3 build using either iron, gold, diamond, emeralds, or netherite blocks to be built. Once built, the beacon will shine a beam into the sky to show it's functional. You can change the beam color by putting colored glass over the beacon. In its interface is the primary power on the left and the secondary power on the right. On the bottom is the resource offering slot. You can press one primary power, then offer one of any resource: iron ingot, gold ingot, a diamond, an emerald, or a netherite ingot. After that, you must click on the check mark to activate the beacon. The beacon will grant the chosen effect infinitely as long as the player is within its range. The range will be dependent on the size of the beacon, from 20 blocks to 50 blocks. Secondary and primary slots require bigger pyramid arrangements. The maximum arrangement is a 3x3 on a 5x5 on a 7x7 on a 9x9. Obstructing the beacon from the sky will deactivate it. A conduit is made with 1 heart of the sea and 8 nautilus shells. It requires a minimum center in a 5x5 prismarine block arrangement. The list of usable prismarine blocks are prismarine block, prismarine brick, dark prismarine block, and a sea lantern. The maximum requirement is 42 blocks in a 5x5 arrangement, and it must be surrounded by water. When activated, the conduit will open up, showcasing the heart of the sea. A max-powered conduit will show the heart of the sea appear with an eye. The range of the conduit is dependent on the level of the conduit, from 32 blocks to 96 blocks. It will grant the player conduit power when nearby in contact of water and rain. The list of effects under conduit power is water breathing, night vision, and haste. When activated, it will damage all nearby hostile mobs within 8 blocks. Archaeology is the act of uncovering ancient artifacts from ruins. You're gonna find a lot of junk, just like in real life, but there's also a lot of unique loot. Through archaeology, you can find pottery sherds. Pottery sherds are found throughout archaeology, and it can be crafted into decorated pots. Each pottery sherd has a unique design and are uncraftable. There are multiple different designs. There's the archery pottery sherd, miner pottery sherd, prize pottery sherd, skull pottery sherd, arms up pottery sherd, brewer pottery sherd, angler pottery sherd, shelter pottery sherd, snort pottery sherd, blade pottery sherd, plenty pottery sherd, explorer pottery sherd, mourner pottery sherd, heart pottery sherd, heartbreak pottery sherd, sheaf pottery sherd, friend pottery sherd, burn pottery sherd, danger pottery sherd, hollow pottery sherd, guster pottery sherd, flow pottery sherd, and scrape pottery sherd. You can also find unique armor trims by archaeology. These armor trims are host armor trim, shaper armor trim, razor armor trim, wayfinder armor trim. You can also find the sniffer egg, which spawns the sniffer, and the relic music disc. Archaeology is through suspicious blocks which have slightly different textures compared to their normal counterparts. There is suspicious gravel and suspicious sand. Breaking the suspicious block will destroy the block and the loot inside of it, and if a suspicious block falls, it will also break. Right-clicking it with a brush on a suspicious block will uncover the loot. After uncovering the loot, it will transform into a normal block. Multiple different structures have suspicious blocks, and the loot is dependent on the structure you find during archaeology. In the desert temple, it will have suspicious land, which can contain emerald, gunpowder, diamonds, TNT, archery pottery sherd, miner pottery sherd, prize pottery sherd, and skull pottery sherd. In desert wells, it uses suspicious sand, and you can find emeralds, sticks, bricks, suspicious stews, iron pottery sherds, and brewer pottery sherds. In warm ocean ruins, it uses suspicious sand and can contain coal, emeralds, gold nuggets, wheat, wooden hoes, iron axes, angle pottery sherds, shelter pottery sherds, snort pottery sherds, and the sniffer egg. In cold ocean ruins, it will use suspicious gravel and can contain coal, emerald, gold nuggets, wheat, wooden hoes, iron axes, blade pottery sherds, plenty pottery sherds, explorer pottery sherds, and mourner pottery sherds. In trail ruins, it will use suspicious gravel and has 2 loot tables. In the common loot table, you will find bricks, flower pots, leads, oak hanging signs, spruce hanging signs, dead bushes, strings, wheat seeds, beetroot seeds, wooden hoes, gold nuggets, coal, emerald, blue dye, light blue dye, orange dye, yellow dye, white dye, red candle, green candle, purple candle, brown candle, blue glass pane, light blue glass pane, yellow glass pane, magenta glass pane, pink glass pane, purple glass pane, or red glass pane. In the red loot table, you can find host armor trim, shaper armor trim, razor armor trim, wayfinder armor trim, hot pottery sherd, heartbreak pottery sherd, sheaf pottery sherd, friend pottery sherd, burn pottery sherd, danger pottery sherd, hollow pottery sherd, and the relic music disc. Smithing is when you apply templates onto your gear. you can apply designs or a new type of tier onto your gear. It requires a smithing table, a resource, a smithing template, and a piece of gear. After using the smithing table, it will use up the smithing template and the resource to make the end product. The type of gear that you can use on a smithing table are helmets, turtle helmets, chest plates, leggings, boots, swords, axes, pickaxes, shovels, and hoes. The type of resource that you can use are iron, copper, gold, diamond, emerald, redstone, lapis lazuli, amethyst shards, quartz, and netherite ingots. Smithing templates are found throughout the world and are the foundation of the smithing process. You can duplicate them using one smithing template, one specific block, and 7 diamonds. There are 2 types of smithing templates: the trim templates and the upgrade templates. Trims are for designing the armor with a new pattern, and upgrade templates are for upgrading the armor and gear into new tiers. The list of templates are, for trims, the coastal trim, which is found in shipwrecks and uses cobblestone; the doom trim, which is found in desert temples and uses sandstone; the wild trim, which is found in jungle temples and uses mossy cobblestone; the sentry trim, which is found in pillager outposts and uses cobblestone; the vex trim, which is found in woodland mansions and uses cobblestone; the ward trim, which is found in ancient cities and uses cobble deep slate; the silence trim, which is found in ancient cities and uses cobble deep slate; the host trim, which is found in ruins and uses terracotta; the shaper trim, which is found in trail ruins and uses terracotta; the razor trim, which is found in trail ruins and uses terracotta; the wayfinder trim, which is found in trail ruins and uses terracotta; the tide trim, which is found by elder guardians and uses prismarine blocks; the bolt trim, which is found in vaults and uses copper blocks; the flow trim, which is found in ominous vaults and uses the breeze rod; the rib trim, which is found in nether fortresses and uses netherrack; the snout trim, which is found in bastions and used with blackstone; the eye trim, which is found in strongholds and uses endstone; and the spire trim, which is found in end cities and uses purple blocks. The only upgrade template is the netherite upgrade, which is found in bastions and uses netherite blocks. Ominous events are effects that can change the way the game works through ominous events. These are obtainable from ominous bottles. Ominous bottles can be found by killing pillager captains, vaults, and ominous vaults. There are up to 5 levels and will grant the bad omen effect. Each level will change the duration and effects on an ominous event, and drinking it will destroy the bottle. Ominous events are events that happen when the player does a certain thing with bad omen. There are 2 different ominous events. Raid omens are activated when walking into a village with bad omen. Once the player does, the player has 30 seconds to prepare or cancel the event with milk. Once 30 seconds are over, the raid bar will start to build up, and once the bar is full, a gold horn will play and the raid will begin. A raid is an event where villagers will invade the affected village, and after defeating a wave, the next one will start to generate. Depending on the level of bad omen, the amount of waves and difficulty will scale. During a raid, villagers will go into a panic state and will hide in houses. On hard mode, vindicators can open doors. If all waves are cleared, the player will be granted the Hero of the Village effect, and villagers will celebrate by shooting fireworks in the air. The Hero of the Village effect will give discounts to all villagers with the effect applied, and villagers will throw gifts toward affected players. If all villagers are killed in a raid, the raid will be declared a defeat, and illagers will celebrate by jumping with arms in the air. The list of enemies in a raid are pillagers, vindicators, evokers, vex, witches, and ravagers. Trial Omen is activated when in view of a trial spawner with bad omen. Trial spawners will transform into ominous trial spawners, which will turn blue, and it will begin ominous trials. Ominous trials are events where mobs from trial spawners will become harder, and if a trial spawner is currently on cooldown, it will reset for the event. Mobs will wield enchanted weapons and armors, and projectiles will be summoned around the battlefield as disruptors. Mobs incapable of wearing gear will instead spawn more. The loot of ominous trial spawners will be changed from the normal trial spawners, and the level of bad omen increases the timer of the trial omen. The list of projectiles that can spawn during ominous trials are arrows, tipped arrows of poison and slowness, fire charges, wind charges, lingering potions of oozing, infested, wind charge, weaving, strength, speed, and slow falling. The list of gear that can be enchanted are chainmail armor with bolt trims, protection 4, fire protection 4, or projectile protection 4, iron armor with the flow trim with protection 4, fire protection 4, or projectile protection 4, diamond armor with the flow trim with protection 4, fire protection 4, or projectile protection 4, iron swords with sharpness 1 or knockback 1, a diamond sword, or a bow with power 1 and punch 1. The loot of an ominous trial spawner is a baked potato, a steak, a golden carrot, a strength potion, a regeneration potion, or an ominous trial key. Trading is the act of buying and selling goods from villagers. Holding tradable items in front of villagers will showcase their possible trades, and trading requires selling items and buying with emeralds. Villagers have a level system in which they will get more trades leveling up. Their levels will be indicated by the badge on their pants. These levels are Novice with a stone badge, Apprentice with an iron badge, Journeyman with a gold badge, Expert with an emerald badge, and Master with a diamond badge. Villagers require a workstation to maintain and obtain their jobs. One villager is homed with one workstation. A villager must be able to reach their workstation in order to interact with it. The list of workstations are: for a farmer is a composter, a fisher is a barrel, a butcher is a smoker, a leather worker is a cauldron, a shepherd is a loom, a clerk is a brewing stand, a mason is a stone cutter, a weaponsmith is a grindstone, an armorer is a blast furnace, a toolsmith is a smithing table, a fletcher is a fletching table, a librarian is a lectern, and a cartographer is a cartography table. Villagers have a limited amount that they can buy and sell per day. Once they hit the limit, you can no longer buy from them for the day. Villagers can restock up to 2 times a day, but in order to restock, they must be able to interact with their workstations. Here is a list of villager trades. For the farmer, in Novice, you can trade a wheat for an emerald, a carrot for an emerald, a potato for an emerald, a beetroot for an emerald, or an emerald for bread. In Apprentice, you can trade a pumpkin for an emerald for pumpkin pie, or emerald for apples. For Journeyman, you can trade melon for an emerald, or emerald for a cookie. In Expert, you can trade emerald for cakes, or emerald for Suspicious 2, which can have either night vision, jump boost, weakness, poison, blindness, or saturation. And the master trades are: emeralds will give you glistering melons, or golden carrots. For Fishermen, at Novice Trades, you can trade string for an emerald, coal for an emerald for a bucket of cod, or emerald and a cod for cooked cod. At Apprentice, you can trade cod for an emerald for a campfire, or emerald and salmon for cooked salmon. At Journeyman, you can trade salmon for an emerald for an enchanted fishing rod. At Expert, you can trade tropical fish for an emerald. At Master, you can trade puffers for an emerald, or a boat for an emerald. The boat will be dependent on the biome. You can trade either an oak boat, spruce boat, dark oak boat, acacia boat, or a jungle boat. For the butcher, at Novice, you can trade raw chicken, raw pork, raw rabbit for an emerald, or you can use an emerald to get rabbit stew. At Apprentice, you can trade coal for an emerald, or you can use an emerald to buy cooked pork chop or cooked chicken. At Journeyman, you can trade raw beef or raw mutton for an emerald. At Expert, you can trade dried kelp blocks for an emerald. At Master, you can trade sweet berries for an emerald. For a leather worker, at Novice, you can trade leather for an emerald, or you can use emeralds to buy leather pants or leather tunics. At Apprentice, you can trade flint for an emerald, or you can use emeralds to buy leather cap or leather boots. At Journeyman, you can trade rabbit hide for an emerald, or you can use emerald to buy leather tunics. At Expert, you can trade scute for emeralds, or you can use emeralds to buy leather horse armor. At Master, you can trade emerald for leather caps, or emerald for saddles. For shepherds, at Novice, you can trade white wool, brown wool, black wool, gray wool for emeralds, or you can trade emerald for shears. At Apprentice, you can trade white dye, black dye, gray dye, light blue dye, or lime dye for an emerald. Or you can trade emeralds for a wool block of any color, or a carpet of any color. At Journeyman, you can trade red dye, orange dye, yellow dye, or pink dye, or light gray dye for an emerald. Or you can trade emeralds for a bed of any color. At Expert, you can trade green dye, blue dye, purple dye, magenta dye, or brown dye for an emerald, or you can use emerald to buy a banner of any color. At Master, you can trade an emerald for paintings. For a clerk, at Novice, you can trade rotten flesh for an emerald, or use emerald to buy redstone. At Apprentice, you can trade gold for an emerald, or trade emerald for lapis lazuli. At Journeyman, you can trade rabbit's foot for an emerald, or emerald for glowstone. At Expert, you can trade turtle scoop for emerald, glass bottle for emerald, or trade emeralds for ender pearls. At Master, you can trade nether wart for emerald, or emeralds for bottle of enchanting. For Masons, at Novice, you can trade clay balls for emeralds, or trade emeralds for bricks. At Apprentice, you can trade stone for emeralds, or emeralds for chiseled stone bricks. At Journeyman, you can trade andesite, granite, or diorite for emerald, or you can trade emerald with an emerald for polished andesite, polished granite, polished diorite, or a dripstone block. At Expert, you can trade nether quartz for an emerald, or you can trade emerald for terracotta of any color, or glazed terracotta of any color. At Master, you can trade emeralds for quartz blocks or quartz pillars. For weaponsmiths, at Novice, you can trade coal for an emerald, or emeralds for an iron axe or enchanted iron sword. At Apprentice, you can trade iron for emeralds, or emeralds for a bell. At Journeyman, you can trade flint for an emerald. At Expert, you can trade diamond for an emerald, or emerald for an enchanted diamond axe. At Master, you can trade emeralds for an enchanted diamond sword. For Armorer, at Novice, you can trade coal for an emerald, or you can trade emerald for iron helmet, iron chestplate, iron leggings, or iron boots. At Apprentice, you can trade iron for an emerald, or you can trade emeralds for chainmail leggings or chainmail boots. At Journeyman, you can trade a lava bucket for an emerald, or you can trade a diamond for an emerald, or you can trade an emerald for chainmail helmets, chainmail chestplates, and a shield. At Expert, you can trade an emerald for enchanted diamond leggings or enchanted diamond boots. At Masters, you can trade an emerald for enchanted diamond helmet or enchanted diamond chestplate. For Toolsmith, on Novice, you can trade a coal for an emerald for a stone axe, emerald for a stone pickaxe, emerald for a stone shovel, emeralds for a stone hoe. At Apprentice, you can trade iron for an emerald or an emerald for a bell. At Journeyman, you can trade flint for an emerald, or emerald for an enchanted iron axe, enchanted iron pickaxe, enchanted iron shovel, or a diamond hoe. At Expert, you can trade a diamond for an emerald, or an emerald for an enchanted diamond axe, or enchanted diamond shovel. At Masters, you can trade an emerald for enchanted diamond pickaxe. For Fletchers, at Novice, you can trade sticks for an emerald, or trade emeralds for arrows, or trade emerald and gravel for flint. At Apprentice, you can trade flint for emeralds, or you can trade emeralds for a bow. At Journeyman, you can trade string for an emerald, or emerald for a crossbow. At Expert, you can trade feathers for an emerald, or emeralds for an enchanted bow. At Masters, you can trade tripwire hooks for emeralds, or emeralds for an enchanted crossbow, or emerald and arrows for a tip arrow of any type. For Librarians, at Novice, you can trade paper for an emerald, or an emerald for a bookshelf, or emerald and book for an enchanted book. For an Apprentice, you can trade a book for an emerald for a lantern, or an emerald and a book for an enchanted book. At a Journeyman, you can trade an ink sac for an emerald for a glass plane, or an emerald and a book for an enchanted book. For Expert, you can trade a book and quill for an emerald, or you can trade an emerald for compass or a clock, or an emerald and a book for an enchanted book. At Masters, you can trade an emerald for a name tag. For Cartographer, at Novice, you can trade paper for an emerald, or an emerald for an empty map. At Apprentice, you can trade a glass pane for an emerald, or an emerald plus a compass for an Ocean Explorer map. For Journeyman, you can trade a compass for an emerald, or an emerald and a compass for a Woodsland Explorer map or a Trial Explorer map. At Expert, you can trade an emerald for an item frame, or an emerald for a banner of any color. At Master, you can trade for an emerald for a globe banner pattern. For Wandering Traders, you can trade an emerald for small flowers of any natural variant, ferns, mushrooms of brown and red, vines, lily pads, small drip leaves, rooted dirt, sugarcane, any type of seed, pumpkin, moss blocks, cactus, pointed dripstone, any type of sapling, any type of sand, coral, sea pickle, slime balls, knowledge shells, kelp, glowstone, any type of dye, fish buckets of pufferfish or tropical fish, packed ice or blue ice, podzol, or gunpowder. Bartering is a more barbaric variant of trading through piglins. You throwing gold at piglins will have the piglins throw items back at you. Only gold ingots can be bartered with, and the item that is chosen to be bartered is at random. The list of items is, at most common, gravel, blackstone, soul sand, obsidian, grinding obsidian, leather, fire charges, nether brick, arrows, or spectral arrows. At common, string or nether quartz. Uncommon, iron nuggets, ender pearls, water bottle. Rare, potion of fire resistance, slash potion of fire resistance, enchanted iron boots with soul speed, and at super rare, enchanted books of soul speed. Biomes are different areas in your world that are made to create variation in the life and environments. There are many different biomes across all dimensions. Some things to note is that biomes are determined by 6 categories: temperature, which determines whether the biome is hot, cold, or temperate; humidity, which will determine the vegetation; continentalness, which determines if the biome is land, beach, or ocean; erosion, which determines the flatness or steepness of a biome; the weirdness, which determines the variant of the biome; and the depth, which determines whether or not a cave biome is generated. This separates biomes logically, so for example, you will not see a cold biome next to a hot biome. Biomes are also categorized by their type. For example, there are non-land biomes, woodland biomes, and cave biomes. Here are a list of biomes. The ocean biome is a temperate biome, covered in a seabed of gravel, with patches of dirt, sand, and clay, and often have underwater ravines. The vegetation you can find here is seagrass and kelp, and its mobs are cod, squid, and dolphins. Structures will be shipwrecks and cold ocean ruins. Deep oceans are temperate biomes that are similar to the regular ocean but are twice as deep. The vegetation is the same with seagrass and kelp, and the mobs are the same with cod, squid, and dolphins. The structures you can find here are shipwrecks, cold ocean ruins, and ocean monuments. Lukewarm oceans are warm biomes with a light blue hue in the water and a seabed of sand with patches of dirt and clay. They also contain underwater ravines. The vegetation here is seagrass and a low density of kelp. The mobs that are found here are cod, pufferfish, tropical fish, squids, and dolphins. The structures here are shipwrecks and warm ocean ruins. Deep lukewarm oceans are warm biomes that are similar to lukewarm oceans but are twice as deep. The vegetation is the same with seagrass and low density of kelp, and the mobs are the same with cod, pufferfish, tropical fish, squid, and dolphins. The structures here are shipwrecks, warm ocean ruins, and ocean monuments. Warm ocean biomes are hot biomes with an aquamarine hue and a seabed of sand with no patches of dirt, clay, or gravel, and generate coral reefs around the sea. The vegetation here is seagrass, all variants of coral blocks, all variants of coral, and all variants of coral fans and sea pickles. The mobs here are pufferfish, tropical fish, squids, and dolphins. The structures here are shipwrecks and warm ocean ruins. Cold oceans are cold biomes with a dark blue hue and a seabed of gravel with patches of dirt, sand, and clay. The vegetation here is a low density of seagrass and kelp. The mobs that spawn here are cod, salmon, and squid. The structures that generate here are shipwrecks and cold ocean ruins. Deep cold oceans are cold biomes that are similar to cold oceans but are twice as deep. The vegetation is the same with seagrass of low density and kelp. The mobs are also the same of cod, salmon, and squid. The structures that generate here are shipwrecks, cold ocean ruins, and ocean monuments. Frozen oceans are a frozen biome in a seabed of gravel with patches of dirt, clay, and sand. The vegetation here is ice, packed ice, blue ice, and snow. And the mobs here are polar bears, salmon, squid, and stray. The structures that are found here are shipwrecks and cold ocean ruins. Deep frozen oceans are frozen biomes that are similar to frozen ocean but are twice as deep and lack the icy surface. The vegetation here is packed ice, blue ice, and snow, and the mobs here are polar bears, salmon, squid, and stray. The structures that spawn here are shipwrecks, cold ocean ruins, and ocean monuments. Mushroom islands are temperate biomes covered in mycelium and giant mushrooms. The vegetation here is mycelium, grass, sugarcane, mushroom stem, red mushroom block, red mushroom, and brown mushroom.
The only mobs that spawn here are mushrooms.
No structures can generate here. Plains are temperate biomes with flatlands and rolling hills and the occasional oak tree. The vegetation here are grass, oak trees, dandelions, poppies, cornflowers, azure bluets, oxeye daisies, bee nests, and pumpkins. The mobs are chickens, pig, sheep, cow, horse, donkeys, and bees. The structures that generate here are plains village and pillager outposts. Sunflower plains are temperate biomes with flatlands and rolling hills, occasional oak trees, and fields of sunflowers. The vegetation here is grass, oak trees, cornflowers, azure bluets, oxeye daisies, sunflowers, and bee nests. The mobs are chickens, pigs, sheep, cows, horse, donkeys, and bees. No unique structures can generate here. Snowy plains are frozen biomes with flatlands and rolling hills, and are covered in blankets of snow with the occasional spruce tree. They lack vegetation and water is frozen over here. The vegetation here is spruce trees, snow, and ice. The mobs that spawn here are rabbits, polar bears, and strays, and the structures are snowy villages, pillager outposts, and igloos. Ice spikes are a frozen biome with flatland and rolling hills, large ice spikes, and no vegetation. The vegetation here is ice, packed ice, and snow. The mobs that spawn here are rabbits, polar bears, and strays. No unique structures spawn here. Rivers are temperate biomes with an aqua hue and covered in patches of dirt, clay, sand, and gravel. Long winding rivers, and they usually tend to separate the temperate biomes with warm and hot biomes. The vegetation here is seagrass and sugarcane, and the mobs that can spawn here are salmon, squid, and drown. It has no unique structures. The frozen river is a frozen biome with an aqua hue with patches of dirt, clay, sand, and gravel, with long winding rivers and a layer of ice over it. It separates the cold and frozen rivers from the temperate biomes. Vegetation is ice and sugarcane. The mobs that can spawn are salmon, squid, drown, and stray. It has no unique structures. Swamps are the temperate biome with a gray-green hue, and vine-covered swamp oak trees spread across this biome. Ponds and small marshes cover the floor, clay patches are all over the water, and fossils generate beneath the biome. Slime can also spawn on certain moon phases. Vegetation here is swamp, grass, blue orchid, red and brown mushrooms, dead bushes, seagrass, lily pads, and sugarcane. Mobs here are chicken, pig, sheep, cow, temperate frog, witch, slimes, and bogs. Structures that can generate here are swamp huts. Mangrove swamps are hot biomes with a teal hue and are covered in mud, patches of grass, and mangroves. The roots can create obstacles on the ground, and the small ponds and rivers spread across this biome. Fossils can generate beneath this biome, and slimes can spawn depending on the moon phase. The vegetation here are mangrove trees, grass, moss carpets, dead bush, seagrass, lily pads, and bee nests. The mobs that can spawn here are chickens, pigs, sheep, cows, worm frogs, tropical fish, slimes, and bogs. There are no unique structures here. Beaches are temperate biomes, which are long stretches of sand and sandstone beneath the layer of sand. Lower levels contain patches of dirt, clay, and gravel, and it separates the ocean with the land biomes. The vegetation here is seagrass and sugarcane, and the mobs that spawn here are turtles. The structures that generate here are shipwrecks and buried treasure. Snowy beaches are cold biomes that are similar to the beach but are covered in a blanket of snow, and the water is usually frozen. The vegetation here is ice and snow. No unique mobs spawn here, and the structures that generate are shipwrecks and buried treasure. Stony shores are warm biomes that are cliffs of stone and water and lava springs. They are covered in ores and separate the ocean biome from land biomes. Their vegetation is usually consisted of andesite, granite, and diorite, and they have no unique mobs or structures. Windswept hills are cold biomes with steep slopes and tall hills that generate with stone and grass all over the area. Oak and spruce trees can occasionally spawn here. The vegetation here is oak trees, spruce trees, grass, dandelions, poppies, emerald ore, coal ore, iron ore, infested stone, and snow. The mobs that can spawn here are chickens, pigs, sheep, cows, llamas, and silverfish. There are no unique structures here. Windswept gravelly hills are cold biomes similar to windswept hills, but most of the stone layer has been replaced with gravel. Vegetation here is oak trees, spruce trees, grass, dandelions, poppies, emerald ore, coal ore, iron ore, infested stone, and snow. The mobs that can spawn here are chickens, pigs, sheep, cows, llamas, and silverfish. There are no unique structures. Windswept forests are cold biomes that are similar to windswept hills, but less stony terrain and more trees. Vegetation here are oak trees, spruce trees, grass, dandelions, poppies, emerald ore, coal ore, iron ore, infested stone, and snow. The mobs that can generate here are chickens, pigs, sheep, cows, llamas, and silverfish. There are no unique structures. The meadow is a cold biome with steep slopes and tall hills, and a meadow of flowers, with the occasional tree always generating with a bee nest. The vegetation here is oak trees, birch trees, grass, dandelions, poppies, cornflower, azure bluets, oxeye daisies, alliums, bee nests, emerald ore, coal ore, iron ore, and infested stone. The mobs that generate here are sheep, rabbit, donkeys, bees, and silverfish. The structures are plain villages and pillager outposts. The grove is a frozen biome with steep slopes and tall hills that are covered in snow blocks, spruce trees, and patches of powdered snow. The vegetation here is spruce trees, snow, powdered snow, emerald ore, coal ore, iron ore, and infested stone. The mobs that spawn here are rabbits, snowy foxes, snowy wolves, and silverfish. The structures that generate here are pillager outposts. Cherry groves are cold biomes with steep slopes and rolling hills and are covered in cherry trees and pink petals. The vegetation here are cherry trees, grass, pink petals, bee nests, emerald ore, coal ore, iron ore, and infested stone. The mobs here are sheep, rabbit, donkeys, bees, and silverfish. The structures that can generate here are pillager outposts. Snowy slopes are frozen biomes with steep slopes and rolling hills covered in snow and patches of powdered snow. The vegetation here is snow, powdered snow, emerald ore, coal ore, iron ore, and infested stone. The mobs that generate here are rabbits, goats, and silverfish. The structures that generate here are pillager outposts and igloos. Jagged peaks are a frozen biome with high mountain ranges and covered in blankets of snow and pointy peaks. The vegetation here is snow, emerald ore, coal ore, iron ore, and infested stone. The mobs that generate here are goats and silverfish, and the structures that can generate here are pillager outposts. Frozen peaks are frozen biomes with high mountain ranges covered in sheets of packed ice and snow, patches of ice, and smoother slopes. The vegetation here are snow, ice, packed ice, emerald ore, coal ore, iron ore, and infested stone. The mobs that generate here are goats and silverfish. The structures that generate here are pillager outposts. Stony peaks are hot biomes with high mountain ranges, strips of calcite that cover the mountains, and pointy peaks. The vegetation here are calcite, andesite, granite, emerald ore, coal ore, iron ore, and infested stone. Only silverfish spawn here. Structures that generate here are pillager outposts. Deserts are hot biomes with flat lands and rolling hills, dunes of sand, and are mostly lifeless, and fossils will generate beneath this biome. The vegetation here is dead bushes and cactus. The mobs that generate here are rabbits and husks. The structures that generate here are desert villages, pillager outposts, and desert temples. The savanna is a hot biome that is flat and dry, and acacia trees and taller grass that cover the landscape. The vegetation is acacia trees, oak trees, grass, dandelions, and poppies. The mobs that generate here are chickens, pigs, sheep, cow, donkeys, horses, and armadillos. The structures that generate here are savanna villages and pillager outposts. Savanna plateaus are hot biomes that are similar to savannas but have higher up terrain. The vegetation here are acacia trees, oak trees, grass, dandelions, and poppies. The mobs that generate here are chickens, pigs, sheep, cows, horses, donkeys, llamas, spider wolves, and armadillos. There are no unique structures. Windswept savannas are hot biomes that are similar to savannas but have cliffs and mountainous terrain with patches of grass and coarse dirt. The vegetation here are acacia trees, oak trees, grass, dandelions, and poppies. The mobs that generate here are chickens, pig, sheep, cow, donkey, horses, and armadillos. It has no unique structures. The Badlands are hot biomes with canyons of terracotta, floors of red sand, and generates gold at all Y levels. The vegetation here are red sand, red sandstone, terracotta, stained terracotta, dead bushes, cactuses, and gold ore. The mobs that spawn here are armadillos. The structures that generate here are Badland mineshafts. Wooded Badlands are hot biomes that are similar to the Badlands but generate a high up terrain with areas of grass and oak forests. The vegetation here is oak trees, grass, red sand, red sandstone, terracotta, stained terracotta, and dead bushes. The mobs that generate here are armadillos and striped wolves. The structures that generate here are Badland mineshafts. Eroded Badlands are hot biomes that are similar to Badlands but with terracotta hodos that spread throughout the biome. The vegetation here is red sand, red sandstone, terracotta, stained terracotta, dead bush, cactus, and gold ore. The mobs that generate here are chickens, pigs, sheep, cows, and armadillos. The structures that generate here are Badland mineshafts. Dripstone caves are temperate biomes that are covered in dripstone and dripstone stalactite and stalagmites. There are small water holes in the ground and copper ore generates more often here. Vegetation here is dripstone, dripstone block, and copper ore. The mobs that generate here are drowned. There are no unique structures. Lush caves are temperate biomes covered in moss patches and clay springs with glowing cave vines spread throughout the ceiling to make the caves glow. They are indicated by the azalea tree on top of the surface with rooted dirt and hanging roots beneath the azalea tree. Vegetation here is azalea trees, azalea, grass, flowering azaleas, spore blossoms, vines, cave vines, small drip leaves, big drip leaves, hanging roots, rooted dirt, clay, moss, and moss carpet. The mobs that spawn here are tropical fish and axolotls. There are no unique structures. The Deep Dark is a cold biome that generates around the deep slate layer under low erosion. They are covered in skulk growth and no mobs spawn here except for the warden. The vegetation here is skulk, skulk vein, skulk sensors, skulk shriekers, and skulk catalysts. The mobs that spawn here are the warden. The structures that generate here are ancient cities. Nether wastes are hot biomes that are desolate wastelands with glowstone clusters on the ceiling, gravel and soul sand beaches, patches of magma blocks, blackstone and fire, and lava lakes and oceans. The vegetation here is gravel, soul sand, magma blocks, blackstone, mushrooms, glowstone, nether quartz ore, and nether gold ore. The mobs that spawn here are zombified piglins, gas, endermen, magma cubes, and piglin brutes. The structures that can generate here are nether fortresses and bastions. The Crimson Forest is a hot biome with floors of crimson nylium, towering big crimson fungi, and a variety of strange foliage. The vegetation here is large crimson fungi, crimson nylium, crimson root, crimson fungi, warp fungi, weeping vines, shroomlight, and netherwort. The mobs that spawn here are zombified piglins, hoglins, piglin brutes, and magma cubes. The structures that can generate here are nether fortresses and bastions. Warp Forest is a hot biome with a floor of warp nylium, forests of big warp fungi, and a variety of strange foliage. The vegetation is large warp fungi, warp nylium, warp roots, warp fungi, crimson fungi, twisting roots, shroomlight, warp netherwort. The mobs that generate here are endermen. The structures that generate here are nether fortresses and bastions. The Soul Sand Valley is a hot biome with a wasteland of soul sand and soul soil, with fossils and basalt pillars littering the landscape. The vegetation here is soul sand, soul soil, bone blocks, and basalt. The mobs that generate here are skeletons, endermen, and ghast. The structures that generate here are nether fortresses and bastions. Basalt deltas are hot biomes made of volcanic terrain of basalt columns, lava deltas, and small patches of netherrack. The vegetation here are basalt, blackstone, and magma blocks. The mobs that generate here are striders, ghast, and magma cubes. The structures that generate here are nether fortresses. The End main island is a cold biome of a large island made up of end stone. There are large obsidian pillar towers over the land, and the bedrock portal stands in the middle of the island. There is no vegetation here. The mobs that spawn here are endermen and ender dragon. The structures that generate here is the end gateway. The end small islands are cold biomes and tiny floating islands that fill out the outer end. There is no vegetation that spawns on these islands. The mobs that spawn here are endermen, and the structures that can generate here are end gateways. End barrens are cold biomes that are cliffs between the islands and the edges of the end midlands. There is no vegetation here. The mobs that can generate here are endermen, and the structures that can generate here are end gateways. The end midlands are cold biomes that are large islands that fill out the outer end islands with no vegetation and act as the edges of the end highlands. There is no vegetation here, and the mobs that spawn are endermen and shulkers. The structures that generate here are end cities and end gateways. End highlands are cold biomes that are large islands that fill out the outer end. They are the inward land of the end midlands, and coarse fruits scatter across this biome. The vegetation here are coarse trees. The mobs that generate here are endermen and shulkers. The structures that generate here are end cities and end gateways. Mobs are creatures that are found in this game that gives its ecosystems life. Certain mobs are tied to certain biomes, and certain mobs are tied to certain dimensions. Most mobs can be brought over to other dimensions, while there are some that cannot. Mobs have different HP, attack, power, and unique abilities. Most mobs upon death tend to drop experience and loot. There are different types of mobs. Passive mobs are mobs that do not attack the player and are usually based off of real life mobs and are usually interactable. Neutral mobs are mobs that are usually passive or hostile but will attack the player if provoked. They are a mix of real life and fantasy mobs, and some of them are interactable. Hostile mobs are mobs that attack the player on sight. They are usually fantasy mobs and some are interactable. Boss mobs are mobs that have health bars. There are only 2 mobs in the games that currently have health bars. There are also mini boss like mobs, but they do not show a health bar. They must be intentionally sought out. Chickens are passive mobs that have 2 hearts. They can spawn in any grassy biome except for deserts, wooded badlands, meadows, snowy plains, snowy slopes, ice spikes, jagged peaks, frozen peaks, and stony peaks. They drop raw chicken and feathers upon death, and you can breed them with seeds. The list of seeds are wheat seeds, beetroot seeds, pumpkin seeds, melon seeds, torchflower seeds, and pitcher pods. You can also lead them. Chicken jockeys are when baby zombies or baby zombified piglins ride a chicken. Chickens can lay eggs occasionally. Pigs are a passive mob that have 5 hearts and can spawn in any grassy biome except for wooded badlands, snowy plains, and meadows. They drop raw pork upon death and are bred with root vegetables. The list of root vegetables are carrots, potatoes, and beetroots. You can also lead them. Right-clicking them with the saddle will saddle the mob. Using a carrot on a stick will control the pig. If a pig gets struck by lightning, it transforms into a zombified piglin. On peaceful, piglins do not transform and instead just take damage. Sheeps are passive mobs with 4 hearts and can spawn in any grassy biome except for wooded badlands, snowy plains, ice spikes, and can spawn in 6 different colors: white, brown, black, gray, light gray, and the rare pink. They drop raw mutton and wool upon death, and you can breed them with wheat, lead them with leads, shear them with shears, and dye them any color with dyes. And sheep will eat grass to regrow their wool. Cows are completely passive mobs with 5 hearts. They can spawn in all grassy biomes except for wooded badlands, snowy plains, meadows, and mangrove swamps. They drop raw beef and leather upon death, and can be breeded with wheat, leaded with leads, and milked with empty buckets. Horses are completely passive mobs that can have up to 7.5 hearts to 15 hearts. They spawn in plains, sunflower plains, savannas, windswept savannas, savanna plateaus, and villages. They drop leather upon death and can be bred with hay bales, golden apples, enchanted golden apples, and golden carrots. You can heal them with sugars, apples, wheat, hay bales, golden apples, enchanted golden apples, and golden carrots. You can lead them with leads, and saddle them with saddles, and apply horse armor onto them. When pressing space on a horse, you can jump with them. Jumping strength is timed, so if you time your spacebar better, you can have a better jump. When breeding, horses have 3 different categories of gene strengths: health, speed, and jump. Some horses will be faster, jump higher, and have more health. Breeding a horse to create a foal will have a mixture of the genes of the parents. Foals will inherit a mixture of the parents' appearance. A horse has many different looks. There are 2 categories, colors and marks. A list of colors are white, creamy, chestnut, brown, black, gray, and dark brown. A list of markings are no markings, white stockings and blaze, white field, white spots, and black dots. To tame a horse, you have to right-click with an empty hand. The horse will attempt to kick you off. There's a small chance to tame a horse depending on the temper. There will be a random number chosen between 0 to 99 when you attempt to tame it. The threshold must exceed 100 for a horse to be tamed. Being kicked off a horse will add 5 temper to the next attempt. Feeding a horse can also increase its temper. Donkeys are completely passive and can have 7.5 hearts to 15 hearts. They spawn in plains, sunflower plains, savanna, windswept savanna, savanna plateaus, and meadows. They drop leather and are bred with hay bales, golden apples, enchanted golden apples, and golden carrots. They are healed with sugar, apple, wheat, hay bale, enchanted golden apples, and golden carrots. You can lead them with leads, saddle them with saddles, and saddle chests onto them. They are very similar to horses. Mules are completely passive mobs that can have 7.5 hearts to 15 hearts. They are bigger than donkeys but smaller than horses. They do not spawn naturally and require to breed a donkey and a horse together. They drop leather upon death and are bred with hay bales, golden apples, enchanted golden apples, and golden carrots, fed with sugar, apples, wheat, hay bales, golden apples, and enchanted golden apples and golden carrots. You can lead them with leads, saddle them with saddles, and saddle them with chests. They are similar to horses. Cods are completely passive mobs with 1.5 hearts. They spawn in oceans, deep oceans, cold oceans, deep cold oceans, lukewarm oceans, and deep lukewarm oceans. They drop raw cod and bone meal upon death, and are interactable with buckets to pick them up. Salmon are completely passive mobs with 1.5 hearts. They spawn in rivers, cold oceans, deep cold oceans, frozen oceans, and deep frozen oceans. They drop salmon and bone meal upon death, and can be picked up with a bucket. Pufferfish are passive mobs with 1.5 hearts and are known as defensive mobs. They spawn in lukewarm oceans, deep lukewarm oceans, and warm oceans. They drop pufferfish and bone meal upon death, and can be picked up with a bucket. Pufferfish will puff up when a player gets too close. Touching it while puffed up will inflict the player with poison. There are 3 states of puffing. There's unpuffed, which gives no poison, semi-puffed, which gives poison for 6 seconds, and fully puffed gives poison for 10 seconds. Tropical fish are completely passive mobs with 1.5 hearts and spawn in mangrove swamps, lush caves, lukewarm oceans, deep lukewarm oceans, and warm oceans. They drop tropical fish and bone meal upon death, and come in a variety of shapes and sizes and patterns. There are over 2,700 naturally spawning variants, with 2 shapes, 6 patterns, 16 base colors, and 16 base pattern colors. There are 22 unique common tropical fish: anemone, black tang, blue dory, butterfly fish, shishiled, clownfish, cotton candy beta, dottyback, emperor red snapper, goldfish, Moorish idol, ornate butterfly fish, parrotfish, queen angelfish, red shishiled, red-lipped blenny, red snapper, threadfish, tomato clownfish, sugarfish, yellow-tailed parrotfish, and yellow tang. Turtles are completely passive mobs with 15 hearts and can survive on land and water. They spawn on beaches, they drop seagrass and bowls when killed. They breed with seagrass. Turtles will remember when they first appear in the world and will come back to that point occasionally. This is the place where turtles will lay their egg when breeding. When baby turtles grow up, they'll drop their old shells as turtle scute. Using turtle scute, you can make a turtle helmet. After breeding turtles, they will go to lay their eggs. Turtles can lay up to 4 clusters of eggs on one block, and turtle eggs will only hatch on sand-type blocks. Cracks will show over time as it hatches, and eggs can take around 4 to 5 days to hatch. They'll hatch faster at night, and stepping on the eggs will break them. Certain mobs will attack baby turtles and turtle eggs. Undead mobs, ravagers, wardens, wolves, felines, and goats. Squids are completely passive mobs with 5 hearts. They spawn in all rivers and all oceans. They'll drop ink sacs upon deaths and are interactable with leads. When they are hit, they'll produce a cloud of ink to obstruct their vision and speed up to get away from their attacker. Glow squids are also completely passive with 5 hearts and emit glowing particles. They spawn at any water source below Y level 3, and it must be completely dark. They drop glow ink sacs upon death and are interactable with leads. When they are hit, they'll produce a cloud of glow ink to obstruct their vision and dim themselves and speed up to get away from their attacker. Cats are completely passive with 5 hearts and spawn in all villages and witch huts. They drop string upon death and can be bred or tamed with cod or salmon. They're interactable with leads, and you can dye their collars any type of dye. When taming a cat, stray cats will run away from a player, so you must stand still or approach slowly to calm it down. Doing this may have them approach you carefully. After taming, you can right-click the cat to sit them down or stand them up. Cats will teleport to their owner 12 blocks away unless the cat is sitting down, is sitting on a chest, furnace, or bed, the cat or owner is in water, or the cat is stuck in something. Cats are incapable of taking fall damage and will occasionally sit on furnace and beds and chests on their own. They will stand up by themselves if they need to follow their owner. They'll hunt chickens and rabbits and baby turtles, and they scare away creepers and phantoms. If a cat is standing when an owner sleeps, they will try to sleep next to them. They may give gifts in the next morning. There is a different variety of cats, and the list of variants are black cat, British shorthair, calico cat, jelly cat, Persian cat, ragdoll cat, red cat, Siamese cat, tabby cat, tuxedo cat, and white cat. Ocelots are completely passive mobs with 5 hearts and spawn in jungles. They do not have a drop and can be bred with cod and salmon. They're interactable with leads, and they do not take fall damage. Ocelots hunt chicken and baby turtles and stalk their prey before they chase them. Untrusted ocelots run from players. Feeding on ocelot fish can increase its trust toward the player. A fully trusted ocelot does not run away from the player. Parrots are completely passive mobs with 3 hearts. They can fly and spawn in jungles and bamboo jungles. They drop feathers upon death and are bred with seeds. The list of seeds are wheat seeds, beetroot seeds, melon seeds, pumpkin seeds, and torchflower seeds. They're interactable with leads, and giving a cookie to a parrot will kill it. Feeding a parrot seeds can tame it, and tamed parrots will follow the player. They'll try to teleport to the player if 12 blocks away unless the parrot is sat down, the owner or the parrot is underwater, or the parrot is stuck on something. Parrots will attempt to ride the player's shoulder but will fly off if something happens, for example, falling, damage, or submerged in water. Parrots like to imitate nearby hostile mobs, and they will sound more high-pitched. Parrots will also dance when a nearby jukebox is being played. Camels are completely passive mobs with 16 hearts that spawn only in desert villages. They do not have a drop and are bred with cactuses. You can lead them with leads and saddle them with saddles. Camels will occasionally sit down and get up and walk around. When riding a camel, 2-block mobs cannot reach you unless they are ranged mobs or taller than 2 blocks. When you press space, you can dash with a camel. Dashing is timed just like jumping, and the better timing creates a better dash. Tadpoles are completely passive mobs with 3 hearts. They do not spawn naturally and are from frog spawn. They do not drop anything as they are baby mobs and are interactable with seagrass to speed up their growth, and you can pick them up with a bucket. The type of adult frog the tadpole grows up to depends on the biome it will grow up. For temperate frogs, that's swamps, rivers, plains, forests, taigas, lukewarm to cold oceans, windswept biomes, dripstone caves, lush caves, and mushroom islands. For cold frogs, that's frozen biomes, the deep dark, and all end biomes. For warm frogs, that's mangrove swamps, all arid biomes, warm oceans, stony peaks, and all nether biomes. Frogs are completely passive mobs with 5 hearts and spawn in swamps as temperate frogs and mangrove swamps as warm frogs. They do not have a drop and can be bred with slime balls. You can lead them with leads, and there are 3 variants to choose from: temperate, cold, and warm. Frogs can eat small slimes and small magma cubes. Small slimes will drop slime balls when killed, and magma cubes will drop frog lights when killed. The type of frog light will be dependent on the type of frog that kills it. Temperate frogs will drop aqua froglights, cold frogs drop verdant froglights, and warm frogs will drop pearlescent froglights. Armadillos are passive mobs with 6 hearts. They spawn in savannas, savanna plateaus, windswept savannas, badlands, wooded badlands, eroded badlands, and they drop nothing. They will occasionally shed their scoop, and they scare off spiders and cave spiders. You can breed them with spider eyes, lead them with leads, and brush off their skew with brushes. If armadillos feel threatened, it will roll up into a ball. It cannot do anything in this state, and it will take reduced damage. After 3 seconds, it will pop back out if it feels safe again. You can still brush armadillos in this rolled up state. Axolotls are completely passive mobs with 7 hearts. They spawn in lush caves and clay springs, and drop nothing. You can breed them and tame them with bucket of tropical fish, and you can lead them with leads and pick them up in a bucket. Axolotls will hunt fish and attack drowned guardians. When axolotls' health get low, they will play dead. No mobs will intentionally attack axolotls during this state. They will attempt to regenerate 4 hearts as they play dead. Holding a bucket of tropical fish in hand will have an axolotl follow you. Defeating a drowned or guardian near an axolotl will reward you with removing mining fatigue and giving a player regeneration for 5 seconds. Axolotls can survive outside of water for 5 minutes. There are 5 variants of axolotl, 4 naturally spawning and 1 found only through breeding. The list of variants are leucistic, brown, gold, cyan, and blue. Rabbits are completely passive mob with 1.5 heart and spawn in deserts, snowy plains, snowy taigas, groves, snowy slopes, flowered forests, meadows, cherry groves, taigas, old growth spruce taigas, old growth pine taigas. They can drop raw rabbit, rabbit hide, and rabbit's foot upon death. They are bred with carrots and dandelions, and they can be led. Breeding a baby rabbit will inherit the fur of the parents, but there is also a small chance for its fur to match the fur of the biome it is in. There are 7 variants depending on what biome the rabbit spawns in. In deserts are the cream rabbits, in cold to frozen biomes are the white and white rabbits, in flower forests, taigas, cherry groves, and meadows there are brown, black, brown and white rabbits. Bats are passive mobs with 3 hearts and spawn underground. They use echolocation to see and can see players who are invisible. They can hang on the ceilings and do not drop anything upon death. Striders are completely passive mobs with 10 hearts and spawn in any large lava area in the Nether. Striders live on lava and will get cold on land. They'll take damage in water, and baby striders can ride on top of the adult ones. They drop string upon death and can be bred with warp fungus. They can be led, saddled. When riding a strider, hold a fungus on a stick to control it. Striders can spawn with a zombified piglin riding it.
Allays are passive mobs with 10 hearts of health and spawn in cages and pillager outposts and prison cells in woodland mansions. They are flying passive mobs that naturally regenerate health every time that they take damage, and cannot be harmed by their owners. They will drop the item they hold upon death, and can be duplicated with amethyst shards, leaded with leads, and given items to search for them. When given an item, the ally will search for similar items. Allies holding items will follow the player, and they will pick up items and bring it back to you. This can work with all items, whether they're stackable or non-stackable. If allies hear a note block within a 16 block range, it will drop off the item there, and allies will dance if a nearby jukebox is playing music. When an ally is dancing to music, you right-click it with an amethyst shard to duplicate the ally. Allies teleport to a player from 22 blocks away, and they will also teleport to the same dimension as the player. They cannot teleport if they are tethered by a lead. A sniffer is a completely passive mob with 7 hearts of health. They are an extinct species of animal whose eggs are only found in the warm ocean ruins. You can use torch flower seeds to breed them and lead them with leads. When sniffing, sniffers will periodically sniff the earth for ancient seeds. If a sniffer finds seeds, it will dig it up. It must be an earth type block to dig it up though, so things like grass, podzol, dirt, any of the earth blocks. The list of seeds that can be found are torch flower seeds and pitcher pods. The sniffer egg will visually crack over time, and placing a sniffer egg on moss will hatch the sniffer faster. A mushroom is a completely passive mob with 5 hearts of health, and spawns on the Mushroom Island. They drop raw beef and leather upon death, and can be bred with wheat, leaded with leads, milked with a bucket, or milked for stew with a bowl. Giving a brown mushroom a flower can change the suspicious stew effect. The list of flowers are allium for fire resistance, azure bluette for blindness, blue orchid for saturation, dandelion for saturation, cornflower for jump boost, lily of the valley for poison, oxeye daisy for regeneration, poppies for night vision, torch flowers for night vision, tulips for weakness, and wither rose for wither. A mushroom hit with lightning will transform into a brown mushroom, and a brown mushroom hit with lightning will transform into a red mushroom. Snow golems are completely passive mobs with 2 hearts of health and do not spawn naturally but are built from 2 snow blocks and 1 carved pumpkin. They drop snowballs upon death and can be leaded with leads and sheared their heads with shears. Snow golems will attack hostile monsters on sight and will shoot snowballs at their enemies. The snowballs do not do any damage to any mob except for blazes. Snow golems will also leave a trail of snow wherever they go. A skeleton horse is a completely passive mob with 7.5 hearts and spawn during thunderstorms as a skeleton trap. They drop bones upon death and can be saddled with saddles and leaded with the lead. They work the same as a horse, except since they are an undead mob, they are rideable in the water. The zombie horse is a completely passive mob with 7.5 hearts and do not spawn naturally and are only obtainable in the creative inventory. They drop rotten flesh upon death and can be saddled with a saddle and leaded with leads. They are similar to the skeleton horse. Villagers are completely passive mobs with 10 hearts of health and spawn in any type of village. Villagers live off a schedule. These are daily routines that they will always follow. Their usual routine is to wake up and walk around, then work at their workstation. After working at their workstation, they will wander for a little bit, then work one more time for the day, then head to the meeting point of the village. Baby villagers will run around and play with other baby villagers, and unemployed villagers will look for jobs, while nitwits will just laze around all day. Socializing can happen during the meeting time near the village bell, and over here this is where they can gossip. Gossiping is where villagers talk about the players and their recent actions. This can gain or lose reputation for the player. Doing good things like curing and trading will raise the player's reputation. Doing bad things like hitting or killing will lower the player's reputation. The reputation can affect the trades of the villagers. Villagers require 3 things for breeding: an empty bed, a food source of either breads, carrots, potatoes, or beetroots, and willingness. Willingness is determined by the amount of food the villager has, and they will only breed if they have a sufficient food stock. There are many different appearances and types of villagers depending on the villager's biome and their job. A list of appearances are plains, savanna, desert, swamps, jungles, taigas, and snowy. The Wandering Trader is a completely passive mob with 10 hearts of health and spawns on any surface biome. They can drop leads upon death. Wandering Traders spawn with 2 unique llama types and will despawn after 2 days. Bees are neutral mobs with 5 hearts of health. They are flying mobs that attack the player if provoked by being hit or breaking or taking their beehives or bee nests. They spawn in plains, sunflower plains, meadows, forests, flower forests, birch forests, old growth birch forests, cherry groves, and mangrove swamps. You can breed them with certain flower types. The list of flowers are all flowers, cherry leaves, flowering azalea leaves, and mangrove propagules. Bees will look for plants to pollinate, and after pollinating a flower, they will return to their home. Over time, beehives and bee nests will stock up on honey, and they will visually show when they are ready for harvest. Using a campfire will pacify the bees when you are taking from their beehive or bee nest. The list of plants that they can pollinate are all flowers, cherry leaves, flowering azalea leaves, mangrove propagules, spore blossoms, and flowering chorus plants. Bees will use their stinger to poison the target, and after stinging, they will lose their stinger and die shortly after. Pandas are neutral mobs with 10 hearts. They can spawn in the jungles and bamboo jungles. They drop bamboo upon death and can be bred and fed with bamboo and cake. They will retaliate against attackers who hit them. Pandas require at least 1 bamboo nearby to breed. Without it, pandas will refuse to breed. After breeding, the babies will inherit a trait from their parents based on the genetics. Genes are determined from traits on a Punnett square. There are dominant traits and recessive traits. Most times, dominant traits will show whether if it's a dominant parent and a recessive parent, or both dominant parents. Recessive traits will only show when it's recessive parents. There are also mutations that can appear very rarely. Here is a list of traits. There's normal, lazy, worried, playful, aggressive, and weak. Lazy pandas tend to lie down and are slower than other pandas. Worried pandas shake and are scared of thunder and monsters. Playful pandas are more active and like to roll around. Aggressive pandas will continuously attack the player if provoked. Weak pandas are weaker, and weak panda babies will sneeze more often than normal babies. There is also a rare brown trait. This trait is always recessive. Polar bears are neutral mobs with 15 hearts of health. They spawn in snowy plains, ice spikes, frozen oceans, and deep frozen oceans. They drop raw cod and raw salmon upon death, and can be leaded with leads. They will attack foxes and do not freeze from powdered snow, and will attack players if near or injuring a cub. Dolphins are neutral mobs with 5 hearts of health and spawn in oceans, deep oceans, lukewarm oceans, deep lukewarm oceans, and warm oceans. They drop raw cod upon death and can be fed to bring players to nearby structures. You can also lead the mob. They will follow players in boats and play with drop items in the water. When a player is near a dolphin in the water, the dolphin will grant the player Dolphin's Grace. This will increase the player's swimming speed. Llamas are neutral mobs with up to 7.5 hearts to 15 hearts. They spawn in the windswept hills, windswept gravelly hills, windswept forest hills, and savanna plateaus. They can drop leather or leads as trader llamas upon death. You can breed or heal them with hay bales, heal them with wheat, lead them with leads, or saddle them with carpets, or saddle them with chests. Provoking a llama will have it spit at you. Leading a llama will have other llamas form a caravan, and a chested llama can hold up to 27 slots of items. The color of the carpet will give a unique design to the llama, and there are 4 variants of llama: cream, white, brown, and gray. Goats are neutral mobs with 5 hearts of health and spawn in frozen peaks, jagged peaks, snowy slopes, and are bred with wheat, leaded with leads, and milked with buckets. Goats can jump up to 10 blocks and will periodically try to ram nearby targets. If a goat misses its target and rams into certain blocks, it will break off its horn. These blocks can be snow blocks, stone blocks, mountain ores such as coal, iron, and emerald ore, wood blocks, and ice blocks. Wolves are neutral mobs with 4 hearts as wild variants and 10 hearts as tamed variants. Wood wolves spawn in forests, pale wolves spawn in taigas, chestnut wolves spawn in old-growth spruce taigas, black wolves spawn in old-growth pine taigas, ashen wolves spawn in snowy taigas, spotted wolves spawn in savanna plateaus, striped wolves spawn in wooded badlands, and snowy wolves spawn in groves. You can heal them or breed them with any sort of meat, lead them with leads, tame them with bones, dye their collar with dyes, apply a wolf armor, or shear the armor off with shears. Tamed wolves will teleport to a player from 12 blocks away unless the dog or player is in water, the dog is sat down, or the dog is stuck on something. Wild dogs will attack together if provoked by a player, and tamed dogs will attack targets if attacked, a player hits the target, or the player is hurt by the target. Right-clicking will stand up the wolf or sit down the wolf. Foxes are neutral mobs with 5 hearts of health and spawn in taigas, old-growth taigas, snowy taigas, and groves. They drop held items upon death and can be bred with sweet berries and glowberries, leaded with leads. Foxes can pick up berries and eat them, and foxes will also run away from the player if they see them. They can sit down and sleep under trees, and when hunting, they may sometimes stalk their prey before they pounce. Foxes will hold items given to them on the ground. Foxes can utilize the items they hold, such as enchanted weapons, totems of undying, and food. They will prefer to pick up food items and eat them. So in order to get back an item other than killing them, you can drop food to replace the item in their mouth. Breeding 2 foxes will get a trusting kit. A kit will not run away from the player, and the kit will attack things that harm the player, such as mobs and other players. And kits will attack things that harm the player, such as mobs and other players. There is also a snowy variant found in the frozen biomes. Iron golems are a neutral mob that have 50 hearts of health and can spawn in villages, pillager outpost cages, and can be created with 4 blocks of iron and 1 carved pumpkin. They drop iron and poppies upon death and can be healed with iron ingots and leaded with leads. Naturally spawned iron golems will attack the player if attacked or attacking a villager, and summoned iron golems will not attack a player. Iron golems patrol an area and will attack hostile mobs that it sees, except for the creeper. Golems will also give poppies to baby villagers occasionally. Iron golems will visually show its state of health through cracks. There are 4 stages: no cracks, slightly cracked, cracked, and severely cracked. Right-clicking a golem with an iron ingot will heal the golem by 12.5 hearts. Drowned are neutral mobs with 10 hearts of health and spawn in all ocean biomes, rivers, frozen rivers, dripstone caves, zombie transformation, and ocean ruins. They can drop rotten flesh, copper ingots, tridents, nautilus shells, and fishing rods upon death. They are undead mobs with 2 natural armor points that can swim in water. They will attack villagers, wandering traders, iron golems, baby turtles and baby turtle eggs, and axolotls. They will not attack in daylight unless their target is in water. Spiders are neutral mobs with 8 hearts and spawn at night, in trial chambers, and dungeons. They will drop strings and spider eyes upon death. Spiders are arthropod mobs that can climb walls and are not affected by cobwebs. They become passive in the daylight unless provoked, and are unaffected by poison. They avoid armadillos, and on hard mode, they have a chance to spawn with any of these effects: strength, speed, regeneration, and invisibility. Spiders also have a chance to spawn with a skeleton riding it as a spider jockey. Cave spiders are neutral mobs with 6 hearts of health and spawn in mine shafts and trial chambers. They drop string and spider eyes upon death, are arthropod mobs that can climb walls and aren't affected by cobwebs, and become passive in the daylight unless provoked. They are smaller than normal spiders and can fit in 1x1 holes, are unaffected by poison, scared by armadillos, and their attacks can inflict the target with poison. Endermen are neutral mobs with 20 hearts of health and can spawn in the overworld, the nether waste, the soul sand valleys, the warp forest, and the end. They drop ender pearls and the blocks they hold upon death. They tend to teleport randomly and cannot be hit with projectiles. They cannot be in water or rain and will become hostile if the player looks them in the eyes. If the player is wearing a carved pumpkin, it will prevent the hostility from activating. They can also pick up natural blocks in the world. For example, grass blocks, clay blocks, sand and red sand, gravel, mud blocks, mycelium, nylium, TNT, small flowers, and foliage such as cactuses, pumpkins, melons, mushrooms, fungi, moss, and mud roots. Piglins are neutral mobs with 8 hearts of health and spawn in the nether wastes, crimson forests, and bastion remnants. They can drop gold swords, gold armor, crossbows, picked up items, and piglin heads by charged creepers. You can barter with gold. Piglins love all gold type blocks such as gold blocks, raw gold blocks, bells, gold ore, and more. They are hostile to withers and wither skeletons, and piglins will not attack the player if they are wearing at least 1 piece of gold. Piglins avoid zombie piglins, nether portals, and soul fire blocks. Piglins will occasionally hunt hoglins and have a small chance to do a victory dance if defeating the hoglins. Baby piglins are not hostile and will play with baby hoglins by riding on top of them. Aggravating a piglin will cause them to attack you depending on the severity. Light aggravation is when the player is not wearing any gold. They can still be distracted by gold. Medium aggravation is when the player breaks gold or opens a chest, or the piglin sees the player attacking another piglin mob. They can still be distracted by gold and can be de-aggroed by wearing gold armor. A heavy aggravation is when the piglin is attacked by the player directly and cannot be distracted by gold. Zombified piglins are neutral mob with 10 hearts of health and spawn in the nether waste, crimson forest, nether portals, piglin transformation, and pig transformation. They drop rotten flesh, gold nuggets, gold swords, crossbows, gold axes, warp fungus on a stick, and gold ingots upon death. They are hostile if provoked. They are undead mobs that have 2 natural armor points and do not burn in fire. They become hostile if attacked, and nearby zombie piglins will also attack. There are zombie piglin leaders which spawn occasionally and can spawn reinforcements. Zombies are hostile mobs with 10 hearts of health and spawn in darkness, trial chambers, and dungeons. They drop rotten flesh, potatoes, carrots, iron ingots, iron tools, iron weapons, armor, and zombie heads by charged creepers. They burn in daylight and have 2 natural armor points. If attacked, nearby zombies will also target the player. They attack villagers, wandering traders, iron golems, and baby turtles. They can pick up items and break doors. Zombie sieges have a chance to happen in villages and are large groups of zombies that attack the village. Zombies can transform villagers into zombie villagers. Zombies cannot swim and will sink to the bottom of the water. If they stay submerged long enough, they can transform into the drown. There are different variants of zombies. Zombie villagers can spawn naturally in darkness and abandoned villages. They can also spawn by a zombie killing a villager. You can cure a zombie villager with a weakness potion and a golden apple. This will give a discount from the villager. Baby zombies spawn naturally in darkness, trial chambers, and dungeons. They are faster than its adult counterpart and are harder to hit. They can also spawn on chickens as a chicken jockey. Husks spawn naturally in deserts and trial chambers. They do not burn in the day and can inflict the hunger effect. Drown can spawn naturally in all oceans, rivers, driftzone caves, and ocean ruins, and have a baby and ranged trident variant. Skeletons spawn naturally in darkness, soul sand valleys, trial chambers, dungeons, and nether fortresses. They have 10 hearts of health and drop bones, arrows, bows, armor, and skeleton skulls by charged creepers upon death. They use a bow and will strafe around the targeted player. They will sprint if the target is too far and avoid wolves. 3 variants of the skeleton. Strays spawn naturally in cold biomes and trial chambers. They shoot slowness arrows at the target and can drop arrows of slowness. Bogs spawn naturally in swamp biomes and trial chambers. They have less health, shoot slower, shoot poison arrows, and can drop poison arrows. Spider and skeleton horse jockey variants. Skeletons will shoot when on the rider, and skeleton horse jockeys have enchanted gear. Creepers are hostile mobs with 10 hearts of health and spawn in darkness. They can drop gunpowder, music discs by skeletons, and creeper heads by charged creepers upon death. You can ignite the creeper with a flint and steel and fire charge. They are silent mobs that blow up when near the player. When killed by skeletons, they can drop a music disc. When creepers are struck by lightning, they turn into a charged creeper. Charged creepers are more dangerous, they do more damage, and have a larger explosion. If a charged creeper kills certain mobs, the mob will drop its head. The list of mobs are zombies, skeletons, creepers, piglins, and wither skeletons. Phantoms are hostile mobs with 10 hearts of health and spawn 3 days after no sleep. They drop phantom membrane upon death and are flying undead mobs that avoid cats, ocelots, and foxes. Slimes are hostile mobs with 8 hearts of health as the big variant, 4 hearts of health as the medium variant, add half a heart as the small variant. They can spawn in swamps, mangrove swamps, trial chambers, oozing effect, and slime chunks. They drop slime balls upon death and do a jumping attack. Defeating a slime will split it down from 1 big slime to 2 to 4 medium slimes, and 2 to 4 medium slimes to 4 to 8 small slimes. Small slimes do not do any damage but will still attempt to attack the player. Slimes can swim on water, and slimes are immune to oozing. Silverfish are hostile mobs with 4 hearts of health and spawn in Highland Biomes in infested blocks, strongholds, trial chambers, and the infested effect. They are arthropod mobs that can reside in certain blocks and hide. Breaking that block will set the silverfish free and attack you. Hitting a silverfish will lure other nearby silverfish and will have them break out. Witches are hostile mobs with 13 hearts and spawn in swamp huts when lightning strikes a villager and raids. They drop redstone, sugar, glowstone, gunpowder, sticks, spider eyes, empty bottles, and potions of either healing, fire resistance, swiftness, or water breathing upon death. Witches will drink potions of swiftness and healing when fighting. They'll throw potions of weakness, slowness, harming, and poison at the target. And witches will drink potions of fire resistance or water breathing if needed. In raids, witches will throw splash potions of healing and regeneration at allies to help them. When villagers are struck by lightning, they will become witches. Guardians are hostile mob with 15 hearts of health and spawn in ocean monuments. They drop fish, prismarine shards, and prismarine crystals upon death. They are underwater mobs that flop around on land but cannot die. They attack squids and glow squids and use a laser attack. There are 3 stages of setup before an attack. Purple is the startup of the laser attack, yellow is the midway point of the laser attack, and green is when it's about to fire. Guardians can spike up to guard themselves, and hitting them in this state will deal thorn-like damage to the attacker. Elder Guardians are hostile mobs with 40 hearts and spawn in ocean monuments. They drop fish, prismarine shards, prismarine crystals, wet sponges, and tied armor trims upon death. There are underwater mini-boss-like mobs that flop around on land but do not die. They attack squids and glow squids, and inflict mining fatigue 3 upon nearby players. They do not respawn, and there are 3 Elder Guardians per ocean monument. Their laser attacks and defensive spikes are similar to the Guardians. Pillagers are hostile mobs with 12 hearts and spawn in pillager outposts, patrols, and raids. They drop crossbows, ominous bottles as captains, and ominous banners as captains. They can spawn anywhere in the surface as patrols, and pillagers can ride ravagers during raids. Indicators are hostile mobs with 12 hearts and spawn in woodland mansions and raids. They drop iron axes, emeralds, and ominous banners as captains. They wield iron axes and can disable shields for a short period of time. They will sprint toward a target and can open and break doors down on hard difficulty. They do not naturally respawn, and Vindicators can ride Ravagers during raids. Evokers are hostile mobs with 12 hearts and spawn in woodland mansions and raids. They drop Totems of Undyings, emeralds, and ominous banners as captains. They are a mini-boss-like mob that use evocation attacks and summoning attacks. They can summon up to 3 Vexes. They will summon a straight line of evocation fangs towards the player, and if too close, will summon a ring of evocation fangs to protect itself from the player. It can do a combo of both attacks if being interrupted by the player, and can ride Ravagers during raids. Ravagers are hostile mobs with 50 hearts of health and spawn in raids. They drop Spattles upon death and are huge mini-boss-like mobs. They can trample crops and leaf blocks, and Ravagers will bite the player and give them knockback. If blocked by a shield, Ravagers can be stunned for up to 2 seconds. After the 2 seconds, they will roar, which will do damage and knockback to all non-eligible mobs. Ravagers can be ridden by these mobs: Pillagers, Vindicators, Evokers, and Illusioners. Illusioners do not naturally spawn. Vexes are hostile mobs with 7 hearts of health and are spawned during Evoker summoning. They are flying mobs which wield iron swords and will turn red for charging at their target. They can phase through walls and will eventually die out after a few minutes. A Breeze is a hostile mob with 15 hearts and spawns in the Trial Chambers. Upon death, it will drop a Breeze Rod. It is a disruptor type mob that has natural wind armor and slides around on the ground, which leaves a trail of particles. It will shoot a wind charge which can activate Redstone, and you can hit the wind charge back at the Breeze to do damage. Projectiles that are shot at the Breeze are reflected back at the shooter. The Warden is a hostile mob with 250 hearts and spawns in the Deep Dark by Shriekers. It will drop a Scope Catalyst upon death. Wardens spawn after 3 shrieks from a Shrieker. It will dig itself out of the ground, and you will have 7 seconds to escape. It is a blind mob that is based on vibrations, but it can also smell the player to find them. It will get angrier the more vibrations it hears, and its heartbeat will start to get faster the angrier it gets. And once it roars, it will continuously pursue the target. The Warden does the most base damage out of any mob in the game besides creepers. It will run at the player and use a melee attack. This attack can disable shields. If the player is too far from the Warden, it will use a Sonic Boom ranged attack. The Sonic Boom will pierce through walls, shields, and armor. It will always do base damage to the target. A Warden can easily be distracted by other sounds. Sounds activated by the player more than 5 seconds apart will be noticed by the Warden. Hoglins are hostile mobs with 20 hearts and spawn in the Crimson Forest and Bastion stables. They'll drop raw pork and leather upon death and can be leaded with leads and bred with crimson fungi. This is the only breedable hostile mob in the game. It will run at the player and hurl them in the air. They will avoid warped fungi, soulfire, and nether portals. Baby Hoglins will attack the player, but hitting them once will cause them to flee. Zoglins are a hostile mob with 20 hearts and spawn after a Hoglin transformation. They drop rotten flesh upon death and can be leaded with leads. They are an undead mob that happen when a Hoglin is outside the nether for too long. They do not burn in daylight, and they are aggressive to everything except creepers, ghasts, and other Zoglins. The Piglin Brute is a hostile mob with 25 hearts and spawns in the Bastion Remnants. They will drop a gold axe upon death. They are a mini-boss-like mob who are not distracted by gold, and will attack the player regardless of gold armor. They have bad eyesight, so it's easy for them to lose track of a player, and they wield axes which can disable shields. They also attack withers and wither skeletons, and will stay around their initial spawn point. You cannot barter with them, and they can zombify into a zombified piglin. Magna Cubes are hostile mobs that have 8 hearts as the big variant, 4 hearts as the medium variant, and half a heart as the small variant. They spawn in the Nether Wastes, Basalt Deltas, Nether Fortresses, and Bastion Remnants. They'll drop Magna Cream upon death, and will drop Ochre Froglights, Verdant Froglights, and Pearlescent Froglights when killed by a frog. When defeated, a Magna Cube will split into smaller variants, from 1 big variant to 2 to 4 medium variants, and 2 to 4 medium variants to 4 to 8 small variants. The small ones, however, can do damage unlike the slime counterpart. They do not burn in lava and have natural armor points. They will take extra damage from powdered snow. The Ghast is a hostile mob with 5 hearts and spawns in the Nether Wastes, Soul Sand Valleys, and Basalt Deltas. They will drop gunpowder and gas tears upon death. They are a flying mob When attacking, they will screech and open their mouths before firing a fireball, but you can hit them back at the gas to kill them. Wither skeletons are a hostile mob with 10 hearts of health and spawn in nether fortresses. They'll drop bones, coal, stone swords, and wither skulls upon death. These are undead mobs that do not burn and wield stone swords. They can inflict the wither effect onto the target, and are 1 block taller than other skeleton mobs. The Blaze is a hostile mob with 10 hearts of health and spawns in the nether fortress. They drop blaze rods upon death. They are flying mobs that light up before shooting 3 small fireballs at their target. The Blaze will also do a melee attack if the target is too close. This is not a fire attack, so you can still be hurt when you have the fire resistant effect. They are one of the only mobs that takes damage from snowballs, they take damage from water, and they take extra damage from powdered snow. Endermite are hostile mobs with 4 hearts of health and spawn when you throw an ender pearl. They are a small arthropod mob that are similar to the silverfish, but also take damage from water. Shulkers are hostile mobs with 15 hearts of health and spawn in the end cities. They drop shulker shells upon death. They will imitate blocks by closing their shell. They will open up to shoot their target, and the shulker bullet follows their target. When hit with a shulker bullet, you will be inflicted with levitation for 10 seconds. When the shell is closed, it gains 20 armor points during that time and can reflect projectiles. In danger, and they can take damage in water. The Wither is a hostile mob with 300 health and can spawn by crafting via the player. They drop the Nether Star upon death. It is similar to the Iron Golem, except replacing it with soul sand and 3 Wither skulls. When spawning, you have a few seconds to escape before the Wither will explode blocks around it. It fires Wither skeleton skulls at almost anything except for undead mobs. Upon half health, it will activate its Wither armor and you can no longer shoot it with projectiles. It cannot take any form of natural damage. The Ender Dragon is a boss mob with 200 hearts. They spawn in the main end island, and can be interacted with glass bottles. It will fly around the island and shoot fireballs at the player. Dragon will fly around the end spikes in order to heal. Every now and then it will perch down onto the portal. When defeated, the dragon will play an animation, and the end portal will open up. End portal will also spawn the end gateways, as well as the Ender Dragon egg. You can use the Ender Dragon egg to respawn the dragon. Structures are found throughout the world, each have their own different experience. Some contain unique mobs and unique loot. Today I'm just going to go over the structures that contain like more comprehensible loot, so things like chests, suspicious blocks, vaults, and pots, so nothing crazy. Dungeons are small box-like structures that contain a mob spawner and from 0 to 2 chests. The list of mobs that can spawn in the spawners are zombies, skeletons, and spiders. They are found more often in the deep slate layer. The mine shaft is a labyrinth with corridors filled with tracks and support beams of chains and logs. They cannot spawn in the deep dark biome, and they hold cave spider spawners. There are minecart chests filled with loot that can help the player during mining, so things like torches, iron rails, and foodstuff. The Badlands have an exclusive mineshaft type known as the Badlands Mineshaft. This is made with dark oak and can spawn on the surface. The trial chambers are a sprawling dungeon made of copper and tuff and filled with trial rooms. They will always spawn with a corridor and an entrance room. You can find loot from trial spawners, vaults, chests, barrels, and decorated pots. The unique breeze mob is found here. Unique loot that you can find here is heavy core, wind charge, flow armor trim, bolt armor trim, flow pattern, guster banner pattern, flow pottery sherd, guster pottery sherd, scrape pottery sherd, creator music box, creator music disc, precipice music disc. These are found in the deep slate layer. The ancient city is a massive underground city which is devoid of life and overtaken by skulk. It can be found in the deep dark biome and will always have a city centerpiece. These structures will contain chests. The unique warden mob is the only thing found here. And the unique loot is Swift Sneak Enchanted Book, Echo Shards, Ward Armor Trim, Silence Armor Trim, and Music Disc Fragment 5. The Stronghold is a maze-like structure which holds the only place the end portal resides. They contain chests, and silverfish spawners can be found here. Their unique loot is the Eye Armor Trim. Trail ruins are buried ruins of an ancient civilization. They are found in jungles, taigas, and birch biomes. They contain suspicious gravel. Their unique loot is Host Armor Trim, Shaper Armor Trim, Razor Armor Trim, Wayfinder Armor Trim, Burn Pottery Sherd, Howl Pottery Sherd, Friend Pottery Sherd, Heart Pottery Sherd, Heartbreak Pottery Sherd, Sheaf Pottery Sherd, Danger Pottery Sherd, and the Relic Music Disc. Buried treasure is a chest buried on the beaches hidden from adventurers. They are found in beach biomes and are a singular chest. Their unique loot is the Heart of the Sea. Villagers are towns filled with inhabitants that can live their lives and do their daily tasks. It can be found in the plains, taigas, savannas, snowy plains, deserts, and meadows. There is different architecture and culture depending on the biome, and they contain chests. Villagers, iron golems, and cats can be found here. Abandoned villages are villages that were once full of life that are now ravaged and left with zombie villagers. Can be found in the same biomes the villagers can be found, and they contain chests. Zombie villagers and cats can be found here. Pillager outposts are giant towers that house the pillagers and are bases around the world. They can be found in the same places as villagers can be found. They contain one chest, and pillagers, iron golems, and allays can be found here. The unique loot is gold horns and the sentry armor trim. Woodland mansions are massive wonders that act as homes to the illagers. They can be found in rooftop forests and contain chests. Vindicators, evokers, vexes, and allays can be found here, and its unique loot is the vex armor trim. Witch huts are small homes in the swamps which house witches and their black cats. The desert temple is buried in the dunes of the desert and are pyramid-like structures. They are found in deserts and have hidden rooms. They contain chests and suspicious sand. Their unique loot is the dune armor trim, archer pottery sherd, miner pottery sherd, skull pottery sherd, and prize pottery sherd. Jungle temple are cobblestone temples with traps and puzzles. They are found in the jungles and bamboo jungles and contain chests. Their unique loot is the wild armor trim. These are small huts that sometimes contain secrets underground. Beneath will sometimes be hidden chambers, and they can be found in snowy plains, snowy taigas, and snowy slopes. They contain chests and villagers and zombie villagers. Desert wells are small wells that are found in the desert. They are filled with water and contain suspicious sand. Their unique loot is brewer pottery sherd and arms pottery sherd. The Warm Ocean Ruins is an ancient ruin found underwater made of sandstone. They're found in lukewarm and warm type oceans and beaches. They contain chests and suspicious sand, and drown can be found here. Their unique loot is the buried treasure map, angler pottery sherd, snort pottery sherd, shelter pottery sherd, and the sniffer egg. Cold ocean ruins are ancient ruins found in underwater made out of stone bricks. They are found in cold to frozen type oceans and beaches. They contain chests and suspicious gravel, and drown can be found here. Their unique loot is buried treasure map, blade pottery sherd, explorer pottery sherd, mourner pottery sherd, and plenty pottery sherd. Shipwrecks are ships that were ravaged by the sea and now sunk into the bottom. They are found in ocean biomes and beach biomes, and contain 1 to 3 chests. Their unique loot is suspicious stew and coast armor trim. The ocean monuments are giant ocean temples made from prismarine and are protected by guardians. They are found in all deep ocean biomes, and guardians and elder guardians are found here. Their unique loot is wet sponges and tide armor trim. Ruined portals are decayed portals with forgotten history. They can spawn anywhere in the nether or the overworld, except for the deep dark. Their overworld variant will use stone bricks, while their nether variant will use black stone bricks, and will always contain 1 chest. The Nether Fortress is an ominous fortress found in the fiery wasteland that is the Nether. It is found in all Nether biomes and contains chests. Blazes, skeletons, and wither skeletons can be found here. Its unique loot is rib armor trim and nether wart. Bastion remnants are giant black stone buildings that house the piglins. They are found in all Nether biomes except for the basalt deltas and contain chests. Piglins, piglin brutes, hoglins, and magma cube spawners can be found here. There are 4 types: bridge, housing, stable, and treasure. The unique loot that is found here is ancient debris, netherite scrap, lodestone, snout armor trim, netherite upgrade, snout banner pattern, and the pigstep music disc. End cities are tall vertical cities that are found in the endless void of the end. They are found in outer end island biomes, and sometimes can have end ships. They contain chests and ender chests, and shulkers can be found here. Their unique loot is the elytra and spire armor trim. Redstone is a system that uses redstone power to power blocks and create machines. It requires a source, a connector, and a machine. Redstone requires a source, such as buttons, levers, and pressure plates, a connector, such as redstone dust, and a machine. You can send redstone signals through a block, but glass does not pass redstone signals. Here is a list of redstone blocks. Redstone dust transfers redstone signals up to 15 blocks away. Redstone repeaters can reset a redstone signal's travel point. Using this, you can chain a signal for as long as the player wants. Redstone comparators. The torch in the middle can be changed. When it is off, it is in comparison mode, and when it is on, it is in subtraction mode. The back side of the arrow is the rear input, and the sides of the arrow is the side input, and the front of the arrow is the output. In comparing mode, a comparator will compare the strength of its rears to its side. If the sides are greater than the rear, there will be no output. However, if the rear is greater than the sides, it will output the rear strength. In subtraction mode, it subtracts the greater side input to the rear input. For example, say side 1 is a signal of 10, but side 2 is a signal of 12, and the rear input is a signal of 15. It will subtract the greater side, so the signal of 15 will be subtracted by the signal of 12, which will equal the output of 3. If any side signal is greater than the rear signal, there will be no output. Comparators can also measure the strength of a block and change it into a signal. For example, chests with no items will have a signal of 0, but a chest with 1 item will have a signal strength of 1. A piston, it is activated by redstone, and when activated, it will push out its head, which can push full blocks. Pistons can push up to 12 blocks, but certain blocks cannot be pushed. Mostly the ones that cannot be obtained, so things like end portals and reinforced deep slate. Slime blocks and honey blocks will stick to nearby blocks. Sticky pistons hold onto the block connected to its head. Slime blocks and honey blocks will stick to nearby blocks and move them. Slime blocks and honey blocks do not stick to each other, so they can reset the limit of blocks. Observer's front side is the face side and the detection side. The back side is the output side and will send a signal. Observers detect when the block in front of the face has changed its state. This can be crop growing, block placing, block breaking, copper oxidizing, and more. This will send out a redstone signal if something is detected. Dispensers are activated with redstone and will fire out items in its inventory. Things with functionality will be used. For example, water buckets, shears, and brushes. And projectiles will be fired as if shot. The dropper will drop items regardless if they're functional or projectiles. Bells, doors, trapdoors, and fences are all activated by redstone. Bells will ring, and doors and trapdoors will open and close. Iron doors and iron trapdoors will also open with redstone. TNT is activated with redstone and will be set off from the signal. Chiseled bookshelves, a slot interacted with will determine the strength of the signal. For example, the first slot will send a signal strength of 1, and the fifth slot will send a signal strength of 5. The lectern strength of the signal will be dependent on the amount of pages the book has and the page that is currently shown. For example, the first page of 50 pages will send a signal of 1, but the first page of 1 page will send the maximum strength. A daylight detector sends out signals depending on the amount of sunlight, and is best during the midday. Right-clicking it will turn it into an inverted daylight detector, and will send out a signal depending on the time of night, and it is best during midnight. A lightning rod, if lightning hits the rod, it will emit a signal strength of 15. Target block, it will send redstone signals when hit by a projectile, and the strength of the signal will be dependent on how accurate the player is to the bullseye. It is also an opaque block, which can be used to redirect redstone. Hoppers are directional blocks and will funnel items that fall on top of it. You can transfer items from hopper to blocks with inventory. Sending a redstone signal to the hopper will stop the hopper from funneling items. Trap chest will send out a redstone signal. There is a very slight visual difference between a chest and a trap chest. Jukeboxes emit a redstone signal, and the signal strength will be dependent on the music disc. Note blocks can be activated by redstone. The sound of the note block will be dependent on the block under it. You can change the pitch of a note block by right-clicking. The list of blocks are: when under a wooden block, will play a bass sound. When under gravity blocks such as sand, gravel, and concrete powder, will play a snare drum. When under glass-type blocks, will play a hi-hat. When under stone-type blocks, will play a bass drum. When under gold, will play a glockenspiel. When under clay, will play a flute. When under packed ice, will play chimes. When under wool, will play a guitar. One under bone will play xylophones. One under iron blocks will play a vibraphone. One under soul sand will play a cowbell. One under pumpkins will play a didgeridoo. One under emeralds will play an 8-bit. One under hay bales will play a banjo. Putting mob heads on top of a note block will make the mob sound. The list of mobs are creepers, zombies, skeletons, piglins, wither skeletons, ender dragons, and player heads, which will play custom sounds. Tripwire hooks can be attached to walls and are attached with string. They emit a redstone signal when tripped. Redstone lamp, they are activated with redstone and will emit a light level of 15. A copper bulb are activated with redstone. Once activated, it retains its state until deactivated. Copper bulbs have different stages with different light levels and will get dimmer each stage. You can wax it to keep it in its current state. The crafter is activated with redstone, and when activated will output their possible recipe. Crafters have the same slot grid as a crafting table, but you can also disable certain slots. Slots will be filled from left to right and top to bottom if used with a hopper. Certain blocks can be reproduced by certain means. Cobblestone is reproduced by connecting flowing lava next to flowing water. Obsidian is reproduced by connecting flowing water next to lava blocks. Basalt is reproduced by connecting flowing lava to blue ice and soul soil. Clay is reproduced by putting a mud block over a dripping dripstone. This will drive the mud block into clay. Copper blocks will oxidize over time, and certain copper blocks are affected by oxidizing. For example, copper bulbs' light levels. You can right-click a copper block with honeycomb to keep it in its current state, or you can right-click it with an axe to remove it or turn it back to its state. Right-clicking on a moss block with bone meal will cause it to spread. Only certain blocks can turn into moss blocks. Those blocks are dirt, grass blocks, and stone blocks. Putting lava over pointed dripstone will cause it to drip lava. Putting a cauldron under the pointed dripstone will slowly fill it up. This will create renewable lava. Killing a mob near a skulk catalyst will transfer the experience into skulk. It has a small chance to create skulk sensors and skulk shriekers. Shriekers are blocks that summon the warden. They are activated by sensors or when stepping on them, and will summon a warden every time after the player's 4th shriek. When you pick it up, it can disable its ability to spawn the warden. Skulk sensors are skulk blocks that detect vibrations. They send out a signal to nearby sensors, shriekers, and wardens. Calibrated skulk sensors are a more precise way of detecting specific vibrations. They have a larger range and are usually faster. Vibrations are actions that can be detected by skulk sensors. The strength of the vibration is dependent on the type of vibration. The signal strength of a vibration is connected to the signal strength of redstone. A signal strength of 1 is walking, swimming, and flapping wings. A signal strength of 2 is when a projectile lands, when a player hits the ground, or when splashing is made. A signal strength of 3 is when a player interacts with an item, when a projectile is shot, and when an instrument is played. A signal strength of 4 is when a mob commits an action such as digging or roaring, or when an elytra is gliding. A signal strength of 5 is when a player dismounts a mob, or an armor stand is equipped. A signal strength of 6 is when a player mounts, or a sheep is being sheared. A signal strength of 7 is when anything gets damaged. A signal strength of 8 is when drinking or eating. A signal strength of 9 is when a container closes, a door, fence, or trapdoor closes, a block deactivates, or a tripwire detaches. A signal strength of 10 is when a container opens, a door, fence, or trapdoor opens, a block is activated, a tripwire attaches, a fuse activates, or a note block makes a sound. A signal strength of 11 is when a block changes, for example, things like lecterns and chiseled bookshelves. A signal strength of 12 is when a block gets destroyed, or if a fluid block is gathered, such as water, lava, or honey. A signal strength of 13 is when a block is placed, or a fluid is placed. A signal strength of 14 is when an entity is placed, such as an armor stand, lightning strikes, or when someone teleports. A signal strength of 15 is when a firework explodes, or an explosion happens. Amethyst resonance is when you place the amethyst blocks next to a skulk block. This will resonate when the skulk block is activated. If a skulk sensor receives a vibration, the amethyst blocks will re-emit the vibration separately. This is similar to a redstone repeater and can change vibrations. Bubble columns happen when either magma blocks or soul sand blocks are in the water. It will create a bubble column all the way up to the top of the water. Magma blocks will drag anything down, while soul sand blocks will push anything up. Chunks are pieces of the world that players generate. Chunks outside the player's render distance will stop. Spawn chunks are always activated, but can be deactivated via commands. The simulation distance is a distance around the player where mobs are functioning. Mobs outside the distance are non-functioning and do not do anything. Food is used to fill up the hunger bar. Different foods will fill up the bar differently, and some foods offer saturation. Here's a list of food and food points given. Foods that give 1 food point are beetroots, potatoes, tropical fish, pufferfish, and dried kelp. Foods that give 2 hunger points are melon slices, sweet berries, glowberries, cake slices, cookies, raw chicken, raw mutton, raw cod, raw salmon, spider eye, poisonous potatoes. Food that gives 3 hunger points are carrots, raw beef, raw pork, and raw rabbit. Food that gives 4 hunger points are apples, enchanted golden apples, chorus fruit, and rotten flesh. Food that give 5 hunger points are baked potatoes, bread, cooked cod, and cooked rabbit. Food that gives 6 hunger points are beetroot soup, mushroom soup, suspicious stew, golden carrots, honey bottles, cooked salmon, cooked mutton. Food that gives 8 hunger points are pumpkin pie, cooked beef, and cooked pork. And the food that gives 10 hunger points is ratted stews. Trial spawners are found in the trial chambers, and when a player walks up to it, it will activate. Trial spawners spawn a limited amount of mobs to fight, and once all the mobs are defeated, it will pop out an item. The type of mob that will spawn is signaled by the blocks around it. For example, mossy cobblestone and normal cobblestone will be a baby zombie. Chiseled sandstone indicates a husk. Bone blocks indicate a skeleton, and chiseled tuff indicate breezes. The mob cap and the mob count will scale with participating players in the trial. The vault is found in trial chambers and require a trial key, or an ominous key for ominous vaults. After using a key, the vault will spit out items for the player. Vaults can only be opened once per player. Music plays all throughout the Minecraft world. It will play at random, and some only play in certain biomes. Here's a list of music. Songs that play in creative and survival mode are Minecraft, Clark, Sweden, Subwoofer Lullaby, Living Mice, Hagstrom. Danny. Key. Oxygen. Dry hands. Wet hands. Mice on Venus. Comforting memories. Floating dream. A familiar room. Featherfall. Puzzle blocks. Watcher. Komorebi. Yakusoku. Left to bloom. And one more day. Songs that play only in creative are Biome Fest. Blind spots. Haunt muskie. Area math. Drayton. And Taswell. Airy plays in forests, jungles, lush caves, and swamps. An ordinary day plays in lush caves, snowy slopes, and dripstone caves. Ancestry plays in deep dark. Bromeliad plays in jungles, bamboo jungles, sparse jungles, flower forests, cherry groves. Crescent dunes will play in deserts and badlands. Deeper will play in Deep Dark and Dripstone Cave. Echo in the Wind will play in Cherry Groves, Badlands, Flower Forests, and Lush Caves. Eld Unknown will play in Dripstone Caves, Jagged Peaks, Stony Peaks, and Groves. Endless will play in Dripstone Caves, Jagged Peaks, Stony Peaks, and Groves. Firebugs will play in swamps, forests, jungles, and lush caves. Infinite Amethyst will play in Dripstone Caves and Groves. Labyrinthine will play in jungles, swamps, mangrove swamps, and lush caves. Stand Tall will play in Jagged Peaks, Frozen Peaks, Stony Peaks, and Snowy Slopes. Winding will play in groves, dripstone caves, jagged peaks, and stony peaks. Poco Poco plays in dripstone caves, groves, jagged peaks, and snowy slopes. Axolotl plays underwater. Shunji plays underwater. Dragonfish plays underwater. Concrete Halls plays in the Nether. Dead Voxel plays in the Nether. Ballad of the Cats plays in the Nether. Warmth plays in the Nether.
Chrysopia plays in the Crimson Forest. So below plays in basalt deltas and soul sand valleys. Rebuto plays in the nether wastes. The N plays in the end. Boss plays during the Ender Dragon battle. Mutation plays in the menu. Mod City 2 also plays in the menu. Beginning 2 plays in the menu. Floating Trees plays in the menu. And Alpha plays in the end credits, also known as the end poem. Alright, that's the end of the video, and gee Louise, oh my goodness, that was a long, long, long journey. I'm recording this ending after all of the editing. I finished all the editing of the video, and oh my goodness, this took forever. But I think it's pretty good. I feel satisfied with what I've done, and I hope you've learned something from my guide. I don't believe this will become too outdated by the time it's out. I mean, it's already a little outdated, but like, should be fine. Like most of the features I talked about shouldn't become outdated for like a long while, so this should be a usable guide. But well, yeah, this took forever. I'm dying. Feels like I just spent years. This is like my lifelong project, and I just finished it. I feel like a weight off my shoulders. I don't know. But yeah, that's the end of the guide. I hope you enjoyed. And without further ado, this is Veil2059 signing out.